On a hot night in Houston, the Astros hit the switch on a record power surge that overjoyed the home fans and overwhelmed one of the best offenses in baseball. Today, can the Astros make it 8 of 9? Can Bud Norris continue his home dominance? Will orbit ever be the same? Time to dial up the heat again next.
Live from Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, Comcast Sportsnet brings you Houston Astros baseball. Today it's the final game of the homestand. The Astros trying to win this series from the Baltimore Orioles. And good day, everybody. Bill Brown, Alan Ashby, Jeff Blum. You guys will be breaking it out to travel after the game. Big draft day. A lot going on today, Ash.
There's a lot going on, and I think this sequestration has taken place already. Can't find many front office people here at the ballpark, but big pick to be picked up. I guess a couple of picks tonight, huh?
Yeah, and we'll be following that, of course, doing our own projection. But that was an interesting game last night, too, with all the home runs, Jeff.
It was interesting. The Astros were finding all kinds of ways to put up numbers, and last night they relied on the long ball and some decent pitching to start out that game.
Let's look at that pitching over the last 20 games. The Astros have gone 12-8. If you look at the bottom right, you see that 3.53 ERA compared to 5.81 in the first 40 games when they were 10-30. They've also picked up the home run pace and runs per game. So everything is in much better sync than it was at that 10-30 point. And with this 12-8 spurt, they try to win this one today. And we look back at what happened last night, Ash.
Well, last night was a lot of fun, but we can even look a little further back as the Astros were starting to put things together. A little small ball out in Anaheim. Marwin Gonzalez coming up with one of his specialties. But then they, along with this, get the sacrifice fly. It was just a nice combination, sweeping the Angels, taking 6 straight on the road. But now Blummer gets to talk about the fun last night.
I was going to say, yeah, they relied on some of that small ball on that road trip, but they kind of broke out last night, dropping 6 bombs from 6 different guys. There were a lot of balls being hit all over the ballpark, up and down the lineup. Everybody had a hit or was on base. But it was a lot of fun to see these guys tee off. They may have been a little stagnant from that road trip coming back on that first day back from the road trip here on this homestand, but they unloaded last night, and that was a lot of fun to watch.
It sure was. We'll see what today brings now, and there's more coming with Julia Morales on the field. She'll look further into this power stroke that the Astros have had going, and she has much more coming in just a moment.
Orioles will take each other on for the series finale here at Minute Maid Park, where there were some fireworks last night. 6 home runs for this Astros team as they went on to beat the Orioles 11-7, and that 6th home run came from J.D. Martinez in the 4th, a 2-run shot, and he is a big part of why this team has won 8 of their last 10 games. He's swinging a hot bat lately. Since returning from the DL, it took him a little while to get his timing back, but since then he's been really good, hitting .313, 4 home runs, driving in 16 runs, including last night's moonshot you see there at Minute Maid Park to put the Astros up 9-1 in the 4th. And it is draft day, so I got a chance to talk to some of these players about their draft experiences. When I asked JD, he wasn't really thrilled to dig into the memory bank. As he recalls, he was told that he would go as high as the 5th round. Well, the 15th round came around. He still hadn't been taken. He said that he started to text the scouts who had invited him out, one being the Houston Astros. He said, "Draft me and I'll make it to the big leagues." Well, he got a call back from the Houston scout and they would take him in the 20th round. He said it took him a little bit to get over that, but he did, and he made true to his promise now. A big part of this Houston Astros team. All right, coming up, the Astros will look to Bud Norris as they try to take the series from the Baltimore Orioles. He's home sweet home. He's very, very good. We'll have much more coming up after the break.
Find our fares online, only at southwest.com. Big day here at Minute Maid Park, and a lot of these fans coming in for the game today will be staying to observe the coverage of the draft later on. It's the Astros and the Orioles, the deciding game of this 3-game series. And the Orioles have won 10 of 15. Buck Showalter's club on a 6-game road trip will be going on to Tampa Bay after this final stop. And Bud Norris will be going to the mound very soon.
Bud Norris on the hill. Record 4-1 on the year and pitching great baseball. Or rather, last year this time.
And probably a good thing he's facing these Baltimore Orioles here in Minute Maid Park, where he's had a lot of his success, because these guys can hit the baseball pretty well. First and second in most of the big offensive categories for the Baltimore Orioles. 84 home runs on the season, averaging 5 runs a game. Should be an interesting afternoon.
Indeed it should. Here's the starting lineup for Buck Showalter. Nate McLeod in left field. Manny Machado at third base. Chris Davis at first base. This is the second time he's batted third in the lineup this year. Adam Jones, the cleanup man, is in center field with Matt Wieters DHing today. shortstop is J.J. Hardy. Chris Dickerson plays right field. Nick Markakis is away for a death in the family. Ryan Flaherty, the second baseman, and Taylor Teagard, the catcher. That's 9.
So Bud Norris on the season this year in 12 starts has pitched extremely well, and just an ERA barely over the 2 mark at home. He's had more struggles on the road, but he's pitched twice against the Angels in Anaheim. Terrific stuff. Left-hand hitters have swung it pretty well against him. Right-handers have had their struggles. On-base percentage against, awfully good. Bud Norris is pitching like an ace of the staff.
Behind Bud for the Astros, Altuve getting the day off, maybe more due to just a sore groin, nothing major. But J.D. Martinez in left field, Brandon Barnes in center, Jimmy Paredes in right, Matt Dominguez at third, Ronnie Cedeno's at short, while Marwin Gonzalez moves over to second base for Altuve, and Chris Carter back at first base. Jason Castro moves from that DH back behind the plate.
So Marwin, very versatile, has played a lot of shortstop this year, but Altuve takes a break today and probably again tomorrow night in Kansas City. It's Marwin at second base rather than shortstop. And Ronnie Cedeno at short for Bud Norris, who has these fabulous home statistics. 3-1 at home with a 2.03 ERA in 7 starts. Bud has not been getting much run support at all. In fact, he is the only pitcher in the major leagues to go 8 straight starts with no more than 3 runs of support from his team in any of those. But last time he made it work in a 2-0 win at Anaheim. Nate McLouth leads it off with a .301 batting average. And he bunts. Norris going to cover. Carter with the toss. Close at first. They get him. And McLeod turns around to look at the Jerry Meals out call. For out number 1 in this game. Very close. Here comes Buck Showalter out now.
Well, Bud Norris was the one that had to get it in gear, as he had maybe a mediocre step toward the bag to begin with, but he realized he was going to have to sprint it full bore, and that turns out to be a heck of a play to get that out.
That was a heck of a play. I think you're right, Ash. Norris hit that red alert button as soon as he saw that ball bunted where it was. That was a great bunt by Nate McLouth.
Yeah, you see Bud even shaking his head. He got challenged on the first play of the game, first pitch. Oh, better go.
So he put his head down. Well, he boxed him out, too.
Yeah, that's Charles Barkley at the bag right there.
There's a little Kevin McHale elbows going on right there.
McLouth hit the outside of the base because of that.
By the way, Chris Carter gets lost on the play, but he had a perfect feed.
He certainly did. There's strike 1 to Machado now. Machado at .323 has 5 homers. He's driven in 31. He leads the American League in doubles with 26 of those. That's a foul ball, and it's 0-2. Well, that call at first was about as close as it gets, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. But Chris Carter did a great job, like Ash said, going to get that ball, and Nate may have beat him by a hair.
You know where Bud might have won is that his chest got to the tape first.
Okay. Machado's down on strikes.
So that was his chest?
Well, you know, it was that part of the uniform anyway.
Bud will love me later for that one.
That's a good 0-2 pitch that Bud just threw.
Yeah, I think you're right, though, Blummer. I think when it's all said and done, McLouth gets the foot on the bag first.
It's a little more of an overhand breaking ball.
A little bit of a hammer.
Now Chris Davis leading the American League in homers with 20 and total bases as well. .356 batting average. He has been sensational. There's ball 1 to Davis. Davis also has a .740 slugging percentage to lead the American League as well. He's 3 for 9 in this series. Barnes shades well toward right center field. That's in for a strike, evening the count at 1-1.
We saw Bud get that heater up to about 95 miles an hour on the road in Anaheim. Really popping the fastball.
It's interesting you say that, because I'm just looking at some of the numbers that we have. In March and April, he was averaging 91 miles an hour. May and June, he's averaging 92.
Breaks out a changeup.
Pick up a mile an hour.
That's a great changeup, by the way, and you can tell by the reaction of Chris Davis.
And that's a pitch that Bud Norris hasn't really featured over the years. This year he seems to be going to it a little bit more. Usually predominantly a fastball and a hard slider.
3. A powerful first inning for Bud Norris, striking out Machado and Davis after the close call at first on McLeod. By Bud Norris. Now the Astros come up with this lineup for Bo Porter. They've won 7 of 8. They go with Brandon Barnes in center field, Jimmy Paredes in right field, Jason Castro, the catcher, batting third. The cleanup man is left fielder J.D. Martinez. With Carlos Pena DHing today, batting fifth. He's followed by first baseman Chris Carter, shortstop Ronnie Cedeno, third baseman Matt Dominguez, second baseman Marwin Gonzalez.
On the hill for the O's, right-hander Miguel Gonzalez, 29 years of age, 2-2 on the year, and a .433. Ernie taking no decisions in his last 3 starts, but he's worked deep into those ball games. The last one a bit of a tough time against a good offensive Detroit Tiger club, allowing 5 Ernies in 6 innings.
And Brandon Barnes leads it off for Houston at .284. He has 3 homers, 14 runs batted in. Had a walk and a double in last night's game. He's showing bunt and moves out of the way on ball 1. 3 hits in the series for Brandon Barnes, who's been starting for a little bit over a week now on an everyday basis in center field. Justin Maxwell is rehabbing in the minor leagues at AA Corpus Christi. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count, and this is Brandon Barnes' time to prove that he is an everyday major league player.
Some guys never get the opportunity, but when you get that maybe one shot, it's time to take advantage. And in a lot of ways, Brandon Barnes has grabbed hold and holding on tight.
Defensive work is outstanding. Fouls that one away, 1-2, and he went deep, as well as getting a second hit in the game Tuesday night. Baltimore won that one 4-1 behind Chris Tillman.
Wasn't a wall scraper either, Brownie. It was one that leaves you with your mouth hanging open, saying, boy, I wonder if you can project this as a regular thing for this guy.
And that's the question that he can answer. This is his 10th game in a row now as the leadoff man and center fielder. And that one goes out of play. This is the Astros' first look at Miguel Gonzalez.
Brandon Barnes has been laying out, whether in right center, in left center field, coming onto the plate. He's made some strong throws. Like I say, he's just exceptional defensively.
He cracks that one into left field. Between Hardy and Machado, a sharp single by Barnes to get things started for the Astros, who were so good last night with 14 hits and 11 runs.
And behind Miguel, you're going to see Nate McLouth in left field, Adam Jones in center field. 3 days, 3 right fielders. Chris Dickerson out there in right field. Manny Machado at third base. J.J. Hardy. Ryan Flaherty back at second base. Chris Davis at first base. And Taylor Teagarden picking up the catching duties on this day game.
Jimmy Paredes getting the start in right field in the number 2 spot in the order. That's unusual with Paredes batting this high in the lineup. That's because Jose Altuve is resting today. And he's showing bunt and taking ball 1. With a 219 batting average, Paredes has 1 homer. He's driven in 7 runs. Paul Emmel is the home plate umpire today.
Interesting to see if the Astros can take advantage of not having Matt Wieters behind the plate, who's throwing out half the guys he's seen this year.
He's been a major force.
It's a great question when you also consider that Taylor Teagarden has hung around the big leagues because of his defensive prowess.
This is a good spot for Paredes to hit in. I know the numbers may not dictate it, but he's an aggressive hitter, which isn't standard for your 2-hole hitter. But I think having Brandon Barnes on first base is going to allow Jimmy to get more fastballs.
It's a 2-ball-1-strike count. Paredes also has been getting a lot of playing time here in the last month or so. With the change in the Astros outfield fortunes, with Maxwell out for more than a month so far with that broken bone in his left hand. Robbie Grossman got everyday playing time in center field for a month. He's at AAA Oklahoma City now. Paredes fouls it, and Paul Porter was asked about Paredes before the game today. He said he likes his athleticism very much. And for Jimmy, it's just a matter of getting regular at-bats to prove what he can do.
I think that regular PT in right field is going to benefit him a lot too. Didn't have a chance in the minor leagues to really hone that skill in, but that athleticism will help him adjust in right field from going from third base out there.
As a left-handed batter, this switch hitter is hitting .269.
You know, right field is an athletic position in my opinion, and with Jimmy Paredes and the tools that he possesses, I think my inclination would be to free him up to really be a go-getter. Now, of course, you've got to back off when the center fielder is calling a ball and whatever, but just let him know that we want you to be as aggressive as possible in the outfield. Get away from some of those collisions with infielders would be the only negative.
Strikeout for Gonzalez. That's out number 1.
He's having a tough time laying off the off-speed pitches here lately, too. Angels just peppered him with a bunch of sliders and off speed, and here he punches out on the changeup.
Gonzalez has a lot of different pitches. He's not an overpowering sort. But last year he was 9-4 with a 3.25 ERA and 15 starts and 3 relief appearances for Baltimore. Pitched a game in the playoffs as well. Jason Castro hit one of those 6 Astro home runs last night. He has 8 long balls. He's driven in 19 with a .271 batting average. Castro connected with a 2-run shot in the first inning last night. He was DHing. There's strike 1 as he goes back behind the plate for this game.
Love what this guy's been showing offensively. Defensive side as well. No minimalization there, but offensively, all parts of the ballpark, he can drive it.
Well, think about what's been going on for Jason Castro in the last 2 weeks. AL Player of the Week, and the pitching staff has lost 2 runs on its earned run average to start games.
That's a liner over shortstop. Hardy into left center field. Barnes will head for third. Backhanded by Jones in left center. Here's Castro into second, sliding with a double. Another hard hit liner by Castro. And that's double number 16.
You know, it's such an intriguing part of the year where you've got the draft coming up tonight, and which way do you go? Do you go starting pitching? Do you go power hitting, maybe corner guys? Jason Castro, for me, sets up to be in this lineup for a long time to come. He is just starting to become that real high first-round pick with the bat. I think it's projecting for me for a long time to come. And you can look at the guys coming up in the minor leagues, Springer and Singleton, and boy, it starts to add up as a lineup that has a chance to have some pretty good thump.
16 doubles for the club leader in that category. J.D. Martinez, the batter. And the slider gets strike one for Gonzalez. 268 for JD, 6 homers, 23 runs batted in, with a couple of hits, including a homer in this series. Julia Morales told a nice story about JD on draft day when he was a 20th round choice. He called the Astros scout and promised him that he would help this club in the big leagues if he was drafted. That worked out. No balls, 2 strikes. That can be a very lengthy wait for a young player who's been told perhaps by some scouts that he'll be taken, we'll say, in the top 10 rounds. Sometimes that's the case, and round number 15 comes along, he still hasn't been taken. He was taken in the 20th round in 09. 1-2. JD led the club in runs batted in last year, but that total was 55 in 395 at bats. That's a foul ball off the plate. It came up and hit his leg, and he limps around a little bit with a 1-2 count.
You know, everybody wants to be drafted high. There's a lot to be said about that, and money is a big part of it, no doubt about it. But what it also does for a guy is it gets an organization on his side, helping push along in the minor leagues toward the big leagues. And when you're drafted later, you just simply have to do it yourself. You have to open eyes and make sure that people are in your corner.
Lays off the breaking pitch. It's 2-2. JD's 25 years old. He's from Miami, to Nova Southeastern University. Was the Astros minor league player of the year in 2010. Came to the big leagues for about half the season in 2011. Shoots this one to right field deep. Going back, Dickerson. Dickerson at the wall. Tremendous catch. Here's a tag at third. Barnes will score, but that's a big-time play by Dickerson in right. 1-0 Houston on a well-hit ball by J.D. Martinez. What a catch by Dickerson.
It was a pretty good play. That's a tough sack fly, even though you do get the RBI on that play. But Chris Dickerson doing a great job going back. Catching that ball, showing no fear going into that wall either.
That's an inning changer. Get a play like that defensively.
It certainly is. 2 outs now. Castro at second base, hoping that Carlos Pena can drive him home. Carlos with 18 runs batted in, has 6 homers and a .242 batting average. He had .348 on the road trip right before this series. There's ball 1. Carlos has been in a nice groove lately. 3 homers in his last 8 games. He's hit .300 for the previous 11 games. Batting average at .242 currently, but that is not the true indicator of what he's doing offensively. He has a .350 on base average. He's walked 31 times. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count.
Pena got in on the act last night also, along with those 5 other Astros. Got a hanging split finger from Freddie Garcia, who did not have that splitter working at all. Kind of lunged out there with one hand, but he's got enough pop to drive it out here.
That crowds him a little bit, and it's a 2-1 count for Carlos Pena.
There are times as a hitter where you can get less than your best swing, but when you're out in front and extended all the way, you'll have the ball carry very well.
Castro at second, and Chris Carter's on deck. And another foul ball. Takes the count to 2 balls, 2 strikes. The Astros unloaded a 4-run first on the Orioles last night, with Garcia struggling, as you indicated. Freddie leaving after 3 innings, giving up 7 hits and 6 runs. Then the barrage continued. And when it all finished, the Astros had won it 11-7, a win for Dallas Keuchel. And a lot of home runs, 6 of them coming from the Astros bats in last night's game. Pena strikes out, and in the first it's 1 run, 2 hits, and a man left after 1-0 Astros.
The day comes from Carlos Corcoran, the catcher for the Astros. We've been putting the ball in play more and getting better at bats as well from everybody, including myself. That's something good. Corcoran was 3 for 3 last night of the walk. That might have been overlooked with the team. 6 home runs, and I talked to Bo Porter about this very matter. He addressed the team's play, and he talked about breaking points and how his team is now winning those breaking points. He told me this team is growing up right in front of our eyes. We're seeing them mature, guys.
Thanks, Julia. And Bo Porter and the Astros head for Kansas City after this game today. And then on to Seattle on the next road trip. This is just a brief stopover of these 3 games. And a lengthy stretch of games on the road for the Astros. And their road record 12-16. So that's definitely improved after that 6-0 last trip. And that's been a rarity. When the Astros left on that road trip, they were 10-30. Then they went 6-0. That's only been done one other time in this century by a major league club. A club 20 games or more under 500, winning 6 in a row like that on the road. Now Adam Jones leads it off in the 2nd inning. Jones with 11 homers, 37 runs batted in, has a .305 batting average, and he has taken away some extra base hits from Astros hitters in this series. And strike 1 to Jones with Wieters and Hardy to follow. Mentioned it, I believe, Jeff, you mentioned it, that Bud Norris's fastball has gained in velocity since the first couple of months of the season, and also he's getting more ground balls on his fastball. Batting average has gone down against that pitch, but he's had a pretty good mixture lately too.
I think all Astros starters have done a good job of mixing their pitches up and keeping guys off balance.
They really have. That's a pop up there, and Marwin Gonzalez out into shallow right center field, and is out number 1.
There was a good changeup right there by Bud Norris. May have been a little bit up in the zone, but just that change in speed will throw the hitter off every once in a while. And you'd say he's almost 50-50, going fastball and off speed. But he's got a different curveball / slider that we've seen.
Right.
And when he can throw that changeup for a strike, it makes everything that much more effective.
It really does.
I think number 1, the way he's been able to spot that fastball down and on the corners, and then the use of that changeup has been exceptional. You can't discount the curveball and slider the way they've been. That slider can be such a put-away pitch.
Matt Wieters DHing today. Looks at ball 1.
When he first got called up, he was just primarily fastball slider, and he was throwing his slider 85, 86 miles an hour, so there wasn't that much discrepancy between the speed of the pitches. So you could take your chances 50-50 on what you're going to get.
Line to center field. That's in for a hit for Wieters. And it looks like Bud Norris is coming of age this season.
And when your off-speed pitch isn't that far off from your fastball, the hitters are usually in a pretty good rhythm with it, and you've got to be extra perfect with it. I think Bud threw that one back because it was lopsided. Wieters hit that ball pretty hard.
It was. And now Wieters on first for J.J. Hardy. Bud Norris was drafted in the 6th round in 06 by the Astros. He's 28 now. Hardy with 13 homers, 36 runs batted in. Has a .253 batting average. Takes a look at that one for ball 1. He hit one of the 2 Oriole long balls last night. His homer came in the 7th inning. The Birds rallied for 3 in the 7th and 3 in the 8th after trailing 9-1. The Orioles have won 10 of 15. They're 33-26. Foul back.
Hardy doesn't look like a guy who would supply a whole lot of home run power, but he's got it. No question about it. He's not the high batting average guy, just a real steady shortstop, lots of pop, and quite valuable.
That's to say nothing of his ultimate zone rating, Ash.
Oh, absolutely. That's always key for everybody once you get up in the morning.
That is dazzling.
He's not chasing there. 2-1.
So how ultimate is his zone rating?
Number 1. He is the highest rated defensive shortstop in the majors over the last 7 years in the ultimate zone rating.
Well, that's intriguing. That implies range to me. Is that fair?
Yep.
He's not the rangiest shortstop my eyes have watched, but he is maybe the steadiest shortstop in terms of the play that should be made.
2-2.
I'll tell you, the guy that has caught my eye this year is a guy we're going to see very shortly as we go to Kansas City, Alcides Escobar.
Yes.
Wow.
He made some plays when the Royals were here. One in particular that was dazzling. Line shot left field corner. J.D. Martinez comes over to play it and gets it back into third base, but here's the tag, not in time. Well, he made it close, but into second went Hardy. And Wieters just beat that throw into third base. It's a double for Hardy, his 12th of the year.
I don't know if I saw what I thought I saw, but I thought I saw a minimal reaction from Matt Dominguez, which would be like an enormous reaction from most guys.
He's got a pulse.
See if Matt maybe thought he applied the tag here for an out.
Ooh, maybe so.
Oh, he freaked out.
That's the you've got to be kidding me reaction from Matt Dominguez.
Yes.
And some may question why he caught that ball on the backside of the bag. Because of that short hop right there, it gave himself a better opportunity to catch that hop and put a tag on it. I think if he was towards left field, it might have eaten him up a little bit.
Chris Dickerson, the batter, with the infield laying back, except for the third baseman Dominguez. And that's ball 1. Called a strike.
Boy, that's awfully close, and if you could slip a hair between bag and shoe, Dominguez might have gotten him.
We got to bring an instant replay. This is getting ridiculous.
Gotta have it.
Garrett Darling's
That's
the
a
umpire
tough call.
there. Yeah. That's a crazy looking swing. Got a breaking ball inside on him.
That's that firm slider we were talking about, Brenny, that he came up with.
Yep.
It's a quick dart down and in, tough for the lefty to lay off of.
Pitcher's gotta love a swing like that. 309 for Dickerson, 4 homers, 11 runs batted in. He's put on a recent power display. Had a walk-off homer against Detroit just over a week ago off Jose Valverde. He had a 2-home-run game against the Yankees May 21st.
This is where you dig for the pitch that can get you the strikeout. Get that key second out here in the inning.
The Orioles, with all this firepower, lead the American League in slugging percentage and also in total bases. They're second in runs scored. They're hitting .284 with runners in scoring position. Right, 3. Norris hits his spot, and a big strikeout. Takes care of out number 2.
So he goes to the perfectly spotted heater to get the strikeout.
Can't take that pitch with 2 strikes. Leave it in the hands of the umpire. That may have been what happened. Chris Dickerson felt that ball was a little bit off the plate, but that was a money pitch by Bud Norris.
Paul Emmel, the home plate umpire, and Buck Showalter's lighting things up from the Orioles dugout. Now with 2 outs, it's Ryan Flaherty, the batter.
Because, as we all know, from that dugout, you have the best view of the corners.
Absolutely.
Flaherty grounds one foul outside first base. Flaherty, 26 years old, from Portland, Maine. Went to Vanderbilt, very good baseball school. In fact, maybe next year's draft, some Vanderbilt pitchers ought to be taken very high again, according to those early reports. But we get ahead of ourselves. This is 2013. 165 for Flaherty with 2 homers. He's driven in 8.
I don't think you could possibly speculate enough.
Just ask the NFL. They do a pretty good job of it.
Well, they've started the draft talk for next year, haven't they?
Well, why not?
Better believe it.
Why not? But I think to be really ahead of the curve, we should start previewing the 2014 draft right now.
Well, let's wait till tonight is over with. Let's
Well,
not jump ahead of things.
who's to say our scouting department hasn't started? These guys are pretty aggressive.
True. That's a ball, makes it 2 balls and a strike. You know, going back to that strikeout pitch, Plummer, on Dickerson, such a good pitch for Bud. Left-handed hitters are hitting .315 against Bud, but I suspect if he's able to hit that spot with that pitch more often, that batting average is going down.
He's done a good job of locating, throwing the off speed early. That was the first fastball that Dickerson's seen all day, and it was a paint job on the outside corner with run.
If I can engage in that one, I can't imagine with the way Bud's developed this changeup right now and the way he's spotting the fastball, why he wouldn't start dominating left-hand hitters. Usually a guy who has a great changeup, right-hander, will actually have better numbers against left-hand hitters than against the righties. And for Bud, he could become that guy.
Bud started the day with an ERA of 3.39. And he gets a strikeout on Flaherty. So he overcomes the double by Hardy. He strands the runners at second and third, and he maintains a 1-0 lead.
Louisiana, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and New Mexico viewers, listen up. Comcast Sportsnet covers the entire 5-state region, and we want your story ideas. Email us your ideas at regionalroundup@comcastsportsnet.com.
Is Julia waiting in line for a couple of those?
Julia's far too busy to think about food right now.
I don't know.
Really, Brownie.
She's getting ready for her next interview. She has a special interview coming up.
She probably won't eat that one because it's not sandwiched in between 2 donuts.
Wow, guys.
Where was that?
That was in Pittsburgh.
That was Pittsburgh, yeah. The
These
donut
guys,
burger.
Did Brownie just say I was too busy?
Yeah.
You're way too busy for that stuff. Strike one to Chris Carter. 12 homers, 32 runs batted in, and a .222 batting average.
So now we know who in this booth has not been paying attention.
As usual, on just about any topic. It's no balls, 2 strikes. Julia is planning her first ever trip to Kansas City. Is it your first ever?
It is my first ever. Excited about the barbecue.
Try the barbecue. Go to the Truman Library.
With your barbecue.
I hope there's enough to last me the 3 days.
Oh, not with these 2 guys around. 1-2 to Carter, who took a seat in last night's game when the Astros did all their slugging. He's been doing some slugging himself recently, though. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Chris. He had 3 homers on the road trip. That included a game-tying homer and 2 go-ahead shots for Chris. He leads the club in homers, and he's tied for the RBI lead with Matt Dominguez with 32. Gonzalez gets a strikeout. That's number 3 for him. Gonzalez is from Mexico. Here's that strikeout pitch.
Down biting slider. That's gotten a few guys through the years.
He was born in Guadalajara, Mexico. Went to Los Angeles Mission Community College. Signed as a free agent by the Angels in 04. He was a Rule 5 pick by Boston in 08. And now at age 29, number 3 starter in the Orioles rotation. Ronnie Cedeno bats. Looking at ball 1. Cedeno at .265 has 1 homer. He's driven in 9 runs.
That was Chris's 86th strikeout on the season, and I would almost be willing to bet a lot of money that 60 of those have been on sliders.
Okay.
Methinks you might sell that short.
It's impressive, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
He gets the 2 strikes. It's a steady diet of sliders, some in the dirt, some not bad pitches. You just cannot get to him.
He's regained the lead in strikeouts around Major League Baseball. Mike Napoli had taken it for a while, but Carter now surging ahead.
It's a tough battle.
Napoli, Adam Dunn, Dan Ugla. I think
Mr. Freud came into the booth right there. Oh.
We can go back and touch that up, right?
Always. Hits 3 balls, 2 strikes to Ronnie Cedeno.
I wanted to get to Jay Bruce on that list as well. There's some guys that can pick up a few punch outs.
Well, what about Adam Dunn?
Well, he was my 3rd name mentioned.
Okay.
You were thinking about Julia and all the food she's likely to get to in Kansas City, but yeah, there's some pretty good names on that list.
Oh yeah, there's Adam Dunn with 73.
Yeah, that's just a matter of time.
The Orioles are here for the first time since the 03 season. And if the Astros are able to win this game, take 2 out of 3 from the Birds, that's yet another indicator that this young team is really improving. Bounce to third base. Machado slings it from deep. He's got that easy heat with his arm at third. Matt Dominguez had quite a day last night.
Yeah, he's been contributing. That month of May was pretty good to him. It seems like he's continuing it here in June. Long fly ball for the home run. Also a big double. in that inning last night, not allowing Adam Jones to go back and make a play on it because he hit the ball so far and bounced it off that wall. Some interesting base running, but got 2 RBIs out of it.
That's strike one to Matt Dominguez. He's hit those 9 homers now in the last 23 games.
That overrun of the base right there by Matt Dominguez, you see, it's sometimes a good thing to do because it draws that cutoff and allows those runs to score.
And I was just wondering that very thing, if Matt had that in his mind as he went around the bag, was he thinking, you know, this might be close at the plate, let's go ahead and make sure we get one more tally.
Well, that can be classified as good base running.
Could get you 2 RBIs, yeah.
If that's what the guy's thinking, we don't know what he's thinking. In the air, and Teagarden is off of the match. Whoops, it may have hit the roof. It did, which means it is not playable.
A little more wind in here than we had anticipated.
By the way, remember last homestand we had a play like that, and I believe it was Carlos Corcoran. We didn't realize the ball had hit the roof, and so I think there was an error given and later taken away on that.
I remember playing a series here in 2002 when the Atlanta Braves came through and Chipper Jones hit one up into the basket. We were all gathered underneath waiting for it to come down. It just never did. Talk about an awkward feeling.
Yes. He chased that off-speed pitch and struck out. That's number 4 for Gonzalez, and it's 1-0 Astros after 2.
Astros return to Minute Maid Park June 14th through June 20th for a 7-game homestand that's featuring the Chicago White Sox and the Milwaukee Brewers. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit Astros.com to get your tickets right now.
On to Kansas City and Seattle for you guys, and then back home for that White Sox series on June 14th, Flag Day, and Robert Ford's birthday, June 14th.
I think it's pretty interesting how the Astros are playing right now and how the schedule lines up. They could continue some of this winning ways.
That's been suggested by some people. Taylor Teagarden out to right center field. Paredes cuts over and takes care about number 1 on 1 pitch for Bud Norris. Bud Norris very efficient. Yeah, if they can continue this run, win this game today, go on into Kansas City. They won 2 out of 3 when the Royals were here, and then on to Seattle. That would be a really good stretch of games, wouldn't it?
Really good. They come back home, and the White Sox have been having a tough time scoring runs.
So if you make that assumption that you maybe now have a chance to go out and beat some of the teams that are struggling a bit, can you carry that forward and maybe start feeling that ability to win over the stronger clubs?
Maybe so.
Well, I think it's going to be interesting just because those teams aren't as strong as the teams they have been beating up on, because they've been playing up to the level, it seems like, of the Colorado Rockies, Anaheim Angels, now the Baltimore Orioles. You know, you go in and start facing some of these teams who aren't as great as those ball clubs. Do you sink down or do you continue to play at that level? That's going to be the hard part.
That's the real test in baseball with a game every day. That's strike one. That makes it 7 of 10 first pitch strikes for Bud Norris in this game. It's 1-1. And starting pitching is what you guys have been talking about during this stretch, this 12-8 stretch. 7 wins in the last 8. It's been pretty consistent.
Well, those numbers over the last 20 games that we saw in the pregame were astonishing.
Yeah. That kind of a turnaround for a baseball team.
Yeah.
The turnaround that started 40 games into the season is exceedingly rare.
I expect some mild turnarounds, but over the 20 games and to do it like you said, Brownie, that quickly makes you wonder where they were at the first 40 games.
You know, when you guys start talking turnaround, and it's been evident, it's happening with this ball club right now. At least that's what it feels like it is. Bud Norris is the name that always comes to mind for me. Is Bud the guy that's part of the turnaround that turns to the future, or is Bud a guy that potentially becomes very attractive, and I'm sure he is already, to teams this season?
I think he's been attractive considering he's on the Astros roster in the situation that the Houston organization finds itself in. He might be that one piece that can be moved for a reasonable price. But those are the astonishing turnarounds we've looked at, Brownie. 2 earned runs better than they were in the first 40 games.
Absolutely defies description, doesn't it? Slap to third base. Dominguez. Clear the cloud. And what we've seen is what's on display right here from Bud Norris. That so many of the starters have done this. They've gotten their ground ball outs. They've been efficient. They're staying away from those bases on balls, and they're letting a very good defensive infield go to work for them.
And the composure. Second inning, 2 runners get on. Guys aren't panicking too much, still sticking to their game plan and getting big outs when they need them.
Let's keep in mind how big a part of those numbers that have turned around now Bud Norris is, as he leads this staff in ERA.
Another shortstop, Ronnie Cedeno on the Machado grounder. Makes it out number 2 very quickly. Yeah, Bud has been not only the opening day guy who beat the Rangers here, but he's continued since then, and it's 1-0.
We've got our AT&T tweet of the game from @Kimberly Varela. One more time. How many home runs was that? Hottest team in the MLB. Those Houston Astros.
That was 6, Kimberly. 6 different Astros homered last night. The only other team to have 6 players each homer in one game this season is the Indians on April 30th. Last time the Astros did it was August 16, 2000 against the Pirates at what was then known as Enron Field. It was Lugo, Bogart, Bagwell, Alou, Berkman, and Truby.
Yeah, but I'm concerned about the way they shut it down last night. All 6 home runs came in the first 4 innings.
I just appreciate that Kimberly's feeding into that theory that chicks dig the long ball.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Let me get my tongue out of my cheek here.
Marwin Gonzalez leads it off. Marwin hit one of those last night. There's strike 1 to him. That was his 4th of the year when he went deep. He's driven in 12 with a .236 batting average. 2 for 7 in this series. It's 0-2 as we look at the home run swing.
I think this one was a hanging split finger from Freddie Garcia, who just didn't have it last night. The Astros were not missing any of the mistakes that Freddie Garcia was throwing up there.
That swing makes me feel like we're back in Seattle.
Yeah.
Where Marwin was just lighting it up so quick early in the season.
He sure was. He and Chris Carter both went off in that series. Well, the Orioles have allowed 13 first inning homers this year. Only the Twins have given up more, 14. 1-2. In fact, in all innings of all games, the Orioles of Buck Showalter have surrendered 85 home runs. That's the most in the American League. The Astros have surrendered 82. That's the second most. So we might expect a battle of home runs when these two get together.
Both teams pitching in hitter-friendly ballparks also.
True. Typically, though, in the early innings, Miguel Gonzalez is at his best. Batting average against him the first time through the order is 189. After that, it's 292. Bouncer, he knocks it down behind him, chases it, but can't get the out. And Gonzalez reaches on an infield hit. Hit number 3 for the Astros.
Surprised Gonzalez. I don't think he was anticipating getting a glove on that one with the old backhand reach. But trickled far enough away to where Flaherty couldn't get to it, and Gonzalez couldn't make the adjustment to go get it. Almost timed it perfectly.
Yeah, it's a good feeling. Take him any way you can get him. And there have been times for Marwin and everybody else that you just feel like you can't come up with a knock.
He's aboard for Brandon Barnes, who opened the Astros first with a single between third and short and scored on the sacrifice fly by J.D. Martinez. Runner going, swing and a miss, and no throw as he slipped. And the stolen base for Gonzalez gets him to second without a throw from Teagarden. Barnes was falling down at his feet. Teagarden did not make a throw.
You know what? If Teagarden keeps coming on this and tries to throw, stumbles over, whether intentionally or otherwise, over Barnes, then there's an interference on that play.
If he makes any attempt to throw, wouldn't that call be made?
Once you cross over into home plate area, and I guess I need to see it one more time to see if Brandon actually fell into that home plate area, but keep coming as a catcher.
Stolen base number 5 for Marwin Gonzalez. And then a bunt. Goes to the pitcher. Gonzalez took a look at third. He threw to first. And the sacrifice works for Barnes. Gonzalez to third, out number 1.
Let's take a look at that stolen base. See where Brandon falls here. Now, does he come out of the box? See, he crosses and lands on home plate. And if a catcher just keeps coming out, shooting out from behind, makes contact with, every umpire will tell you, just go ahead and make contact, and we'll call the interference.
Now the infield moves in with Jimmy Paredes, the batter. They'll play it halfway at second and short. As you see, with the runner at third and 1 out. Paredes struck out his first time up. Ball 1.
Brandon Barnes continues to offer various ways to be valuable to this team.
That first time through the order, and a second time just over 100 points higher for the hitters against Miguel. A sacrifice bunt in this case could play very well the way Bud Norris is throwing. It's a broken bat. 1 ball, 1 strike.
That bat has served its purpose.
Oh, well, Jimmy gets a new one. Well, there's a buzz about this draft, guys. The buzz continues.
Where are you going with your draft pick today?
You know, there is so much cloak and dagger stuff going on. It's tough to make a guess, isn't it?
It really feels that way right now.
I'm enjoying it. This is the first time I've had a chance to be on the other side and see what's actually going on. Usually you're in the dugout going, who cares who gets drafted? It's my job right now.
That's true.
You know?
Players could care less usually.
Yeah, that's the least of your worries in that dugout. But being on this other side, you're right. The cloak and dagger is a good call.
Foul ball.
Do the players write each other when they, maybe a game's going on, or maybe the next day after the draft, and a guy from your position gets drafted number one?
Oh yeah, it's you know, you're looking any way to take a dig at a guy, pour some salt onto an open wound, maybe if he's 0 for 10.
It's been nice knowing you.
Yeah, it's all good fun though.
Of course it is.
Paredes went for it and struck out.
I don't know about that one.
I don't know either.
Hitters always get frustrated when the umpire makes that call. They'd like to have it at least be thrown down to the base umpire to have him take a better look, but you know, relatively close considering that Paul Emmel definitely felt that was a strike and run him up on it.
That bat went further through than I had thought in watching live.
But Gonzalez is showing it's a changeup. But I was talking to Steve Sparks before the game, and he was saying it's a modified splitter, and I can only assume that that isn't a full split finger that's shoved in between those two fingers. Maybe just a little bit of a split grip on it, going for the changeup. Not as drastic a tumble, but he's pretty effective with it on left-handed hitters.
Jason Castro double to left center first time. That's ball one.
Jason Castro, even as a catcher, starting to look like that guy that could be slotted in the 3 spot in your batting order for a long time to come.
Two balls, no strikes.
Well, your standard 3-hole hitter typically over the years has been that big bopper that comes in and just drops bombs and hits homers and things like that. But I appreciate the situation he's in right now, being a 3-hole hitter. And a guy at third base, less than 2 outs, he's going to have a good at bat and not try and swing for the downs and give away the AB. He's going to stay up the middle and try and get that knock to drive him in.
I'm not so sure that Jason Castro isn't that 25-plus home run guy.
He could be, but I'm saying in this situation, he may shorten up and try and drive that run in the old-fashioned way with a base hit.
Look at the way he takes this breaking ball. Just as quiet as can be now. He may have been taking all the way, but yeah, that's nice.
That's also a part of growing up, which is a good thing for big league 3-hole hitters to recognize the situation. First base open, right-handed hitter hitting behind him. You know, it may be an opportunity where he's not going to get pitched to, and they opt to go after J.D. Martinez right here.
It's that rare left-hand hitter that can actually take that pitch the way he did.
There you go. They wanted no part of him.
And he seemed to recognize that. That's the first walk for Gonzalez, and it brings up J.D. Martinez, who hit the ball very well to right field, and Dickerson made a tremendous catch on his sacrifice fly in the first inning.
That's the other thing. You got to be pretty careful picking your poison right now. J.D. Martinez has racked up some 2-out RBIs on the season and did hit that ball well in his first AB to right field.
Carlos Pena's on deck. Davis will play step off the bag at first. That's ball one to J.D.
Get to talking about some of the guys that are swinging the big bats, but shame on us if we forget J.D. Martinez. And this was the one in Detroit that seemed to get him going.
That was a bomb, and this is right after Bo Porter gave him the job in left field, saying he's going to be the everyday guy, but he's got plenty of thump in there to hit those long homers.
That's ball two.
Good take. Good looking pitch right there, and looked like Gonzalez thought he had delivered a strike.
Since May 13th, he's hitting .313. Another guy taking advantage of the opportunity here in Houston.
Now 3-0.
Yeah, it's that double and home run that really stand out for me for J.D. Martinez as well. And you bring up a good point, because he's had some 2-out RBI producing hits. Just really solid with the stick.
And this is a guy that didn't break camp with the Astros. Fernando Martinez's injury is what allowed him to get onto this roster.
Really intriguing, because this is the guy that led the club in RBIs a year ago.
to Gonzalez. To end the third with no runs a hit, 2 men stranded after 3, 1-0 Houston.
Back to work here for the Astros, and mixed emotions for Bud Norris when talking about the draft. In his last start at Cal Poly, he actually tweaked his shoulder, causing him to drop a little bit. He was expected to go 2nd or 3rd round, but when it got to the 5th, he decided to hit the links, take some frustration out on some golf balls. Finally got the call while he was playing golf that he had been taken 6th by the Astros, and now he's a big believer of telling guys, giving them the advice of it's not about where you're drafted, it's about making money here in the big leagues, guys.
He makes a good point. Chris Davis leads it off now, 1-0 Astros. Davis was caught looking in the first inning. And that's something that the young draft class probably should think about a little bit before protracted negotiations occur. Sometimes a player, his representative, can miss an entire season negotiating instead of getting out to the minor leagues and playing.
Well, you certainly have the chance to earn the larger dollars through the years playing in the big leagues. But I will say this again, you better make the most of those early days in the minor leagues if you're a lower round draft pick.
I think it's good to have a little bit of a chip on your shoulder.
Daniel moves up the middle. Davis takes a look at his strike. Bud had thrown 8 of 11 first pitch strikes until going ball 1 and then ball 2 on Davis. There's the way they align. And when the count got to 2-0, Ronnie moved more up the middle. More likelihood that Davis will be more aggressive and pull the pitch in a favorable count. Barnes is over in right center. He does pull it, but it's to the left of Marwin Gonzalez and on through into right field anyway for a Davis leadoff single. Late round picks: Albert Pujols 13th round, Jose Bautista 20th round, Ian Kinsler 17th round, Mark Burley 38th round. There is some mining to be done in the lower rounds. There are some gems available there.
You can find a bunch of those guys. I don't know that you find Albert Pujols or Jose Bautista all the time in those lower rounds, but yeah, again, I mentioned Buddy Bell, a guy I played with, Dominic Brown.
Dominic has been on a tear lately. Adam Jones hit a pop up to second, his first time up.
Give credit to the Philadelphia Phillies for being patient with that guy.
That's out into left center field. Davis heads for third. Jones heads for second. Barnes gets the ball back in. Here's the go-ahead for the tying run to score to make it 1-1. The throw got by, and one-hop Marwin Gonzalez. So the double by Jones ties it 1-1. His 18th double, RBI number 38. And Davis comes home from first.
Big Chris Davis motoring pretty well around third base.
Both pitches on these hits have been up in the zone, off-speed pitches. Chris Davis got a changeup that he ropes into right field, but this is just a hanging slider up on a tee for Adam Jones, and tears it into left center field. See the double cut. Chris Davis digging and went over Ronnie Cedeno's head and ate up Marwin Gonzalez. No chance for a relay.
Well, Davis started it. He scored the tying run. That's the 45th run he has scored this year. What a fantastic year for Davis. And Matt Wieters is the batter next. He singled up the middle in the second.
Yeah, scoring runs department, 20 home runs does not harm him at all in that category.
Wieters bounces one. Here's Gonzalez to his right. Throwing on to Carter. Out number one advances Jones to third base. A productive out, as they say. And J.J. Hardy, who doubled to left, will come up. And the infield comes in here in a 1-1 game. It's got to be nervous time for these young guys, waiting to hear when their names are going to be called in the upcoming draft. Fans here have been invited to stick around and watch on the big screen. Foul back. Season ticket holders will have a chance to attend a special gathering as well. So as the team flies on to Kansas City, a lot of people will not be in any rush to leave this ballpark after the game today.
First selection takes place at what time?
6 o'clock Central Time.
Chris Berman covering that?
I know Mark Berman is. I don't know about Chris. 1 ball, 1 strike. But it's been fun to watch all the coverage here leading up to this big draft day. And there's the runner at third, Jones. There's a lot riding on the future of this franchise regarding this pick.
If I know Mark Berman, he already knows who the first pick is.
That's a good point, too.
There's a strike, and it's 1-2. What's really unusual about this draft is that, like last year, Mark Appel could be the first pick, but he fell to 8th when the Astros did not select him last year, and then he never signed with Pittsburgh.
Interesting situation. I don't know if I'd have as easy a time turning down that offer at the 8th overall pick and going back to school for my senior year, but he felt it was best for his situation, and he's back in the mix again this year.
Right. In the dirt, there's a stop by Castro. It's 2-2. Well, it is unusual, and reportedly he turned down $3.8 million from the Pirates. Wanted to go back to Stanford. He just has received his degree. He wanted to go back and win a national championship. Stanford is finished for the year, so that didn't work out. But yet his value will definitely be higher than $3.8 million if he goes in those top couple picks.
Does that speak to you at all that he has great self-confidence, that he felt he could come back for his senior year and do just as well?
It probably does. To pass up on that amount of money. Foul back. That's something that's very difficult to do for a college junior.
Let's face it, he went to Stanford. There's a little bit of an ego for guys that go there. I mean, I know I'm a little biased, but those guys have a tendency to think pretty highly of themselves, but it's good to see them back it up. Well, but it's going to be an interesting situation for me because I know now that they have those different numbers slotted as far as bonuses. If he doesn't get what he wants as a bonus, what does he do?
Right.
Does he go play independent ball after the signing deadline or whatnot?
Ground ball into right field, and it's 2-1 Orioles. Hardy with a 2-2 pitch just poked it to right for RBI number 37 to give the O's the lead.
That's where that playing in may hurt you a little bit. I'm not saying that anybody would have a chance to make a play on this ball, but your opportunity to make the play might be a little bit better if you're playing back to create an angle to get the out. But the Astros opted to come in early and try and cut that run off at home plate. But another slider up in the zone and uncharacteristic of Bud Norris here at home at Minute Maid Park.
But now 3 hits in the inning, and Dickerson is the batter. Dickerson struck out looking in the second. Dickerson takes, and it's ball one to Chris. Well, if it's not Appel, will it be Jonathan Gray for the Astros tonight? And many projections have the Astros selecting the Oklahoma right-hander. Or could it be somebody else? Maybe a Chris Bryant, the third baseman at University of San Diego.
Those predictions are starting to bounce around.
Oh,
Big time.
Yeah.
It's a fluid situation. And a lot of people will be drinking fluids while it happens.
That's right, they should. Might make the draft a little more interesting.
1 ball, 1 strike. Jonathan Gray, the big right-hander, has had an outstanding year at Oklahoma. And he will be pitching this weekend against LSU in the Super Regional at LSU.
With all the things we hear about these guys, I expect the pictures of them to look like grizzled seasoned vets. And they're just kids.
Yeah. Foul ball, 1-2. You know, there's so much talk leading up to a day like this. Who are the representatives of these players? How easy are they to deal with? What's their track record?
So sometimes it almost doesn't matter what the kid's personality is like, because you're always dealing with the agents, and I often wonder how much influence those agents do have over certain players, namely Scott Boras, because he has drawn the most scrutiny with some of the contracts and signing bonuses that he's turned down.
Check swing there. 2-2. Well, reports also indicate that Scott Boras represents Chris Bryant in addition to Mark Appel.
That's the guy that really intrigues me right about now. And, you know, I'm one of the first to say pitching, you got to have it. But when you've got a chance to get a guy like this, and some people say with that power bat, he's as good as we've seen for a long time.
I didn't realize that he was that big. 6'5", 215.
31 homers, Blummer, as a junior. Some people say with the bats that were previously used, he might have hit 50 a couple years ago. Bouncer, and Dominguez to his left. Gets it on to second. Marvin Gonzalez over to first. Safe at first. So no double play. Dickerson reaching, and Flaherty will bat.
Yeah, those new bats that were instituted a couple years back for the college ranks really took a lot of those home run balls away from most guys. But still, for Chris Bryant to hit 31 home runs with that deflated bat, I guess, so to speak, or that has a little more whip to it, is pretty impressive.
It really is. Uncommon power. Those are the reports on him.
More home runs individually than some teams were putting up.
I'm sure.
Bud Norris has thrown 50 pitches. It's Flaherty batting now. Flaherty struck out in the second. Or could it be Colin Moran, the third baseman from North Carolina?
Now, what's his strength? Is it the power game as well?
He's not a power hitter, according to reports, that Chris Bryant is. Just a good, solid hitter, high batting average. Goes deep into counts, takes a lot of walks. So a Moneyball type guy. He's the nephew of DJ Surhoff, I believe. Ground ball. Dominguez diving, and it goes on out into left center field off his glove. Tracked down by Ronnie Cedeno. A hit for Flaherty, the fourth hit of the inning. Domingo did everything he could, but then off his glove, the ball went out into left center. And now it's first and third for Teagarden.
It's tough for a third baseman with a ball like this off a left-handed hitter's bat. Just because you are playing so far into that hole, you feel like you can get to pretty much anything. And I don't think Ronnie Cedeno had a play on this ball if he did get by Domingo. Got to give it that extra effort. Unfortunately, it kicked off his glove.
Yeah. And now 6 hits for the Birds, and it's Teagarden who hit the fly ball to right in the third inning. Norris has had 4 first pitch outs in this game, so that's kept the pitch count down for Bud. Now Doug Brocail's coming out. You know, but from the Astros standpoint, gentlemen, there is a possibility they will get, of course, either Appel or Gray, and both of whom are projected as a possible #1 major league starter. And then they have the 40th pick in the draft, first pick of the second round. From what we're reading, there is the chance that the lefty from Indiana State, Sean Manaea, who had been clocked in the mid-90s until he got hurt. Reports are he has a torn labrum in his hip. If he's still available, and he might well be, and they draft him and then wait until he gets healthy, you could be looking at potentially a #1 and a #2 major league starter by 2015 or 2016.
Rare opportunity, assuming that opportunity comes along. But, well, a lot to be excited about tonight. Again, I'm having a hard time with those great pitchers at the top available, and then power hitting third baseman in San Diego. That's really intriguing stuff.
It really is a difficult choice, isn't it? Strike one to Teegarden.
Well, is it easier to get a long-term starter out of a draft, or is it easier or more rare to find that power-hitting corner infield guy in the draft?
That's a really good question.
Look, if you feel like you can draft Roger Clemens and you're pulling that guy out of a draft, you got to get him. But at the same time, so many pitchers these days wind up missing a year or two with surgery that almost seems inevitable at some point. And if you get Chipper Jones, which way do you go? Where do you lean?
Both guys are going to produce, but like you said, it's almost like factor in that 2-year hiatus where they're going to have to get a Tommy John surgery mixed in. But Jonathan Gray, I think, is drawing some similarities between himself and Roger Clemens.
That's what we're hearing. Runner going to second, and there's the throw, and it's caught. Now the throw back to third, not in time, so into second base. After that goes Flaherty. As Marwin Gonzalez thought he had a play on the runner at third, Dickerson, he didn't, and Flaherty got to second base. Looked like if he had just caught that ball, he had the out on Flaherty. But Flaherty stopped. Let's take a look at this.
It's a tough read for the middle infielder coming to cover. Marwin Gonzalez recognized that Runner was stopping and decided to come up and cut that ball off in case Chris Dickerson was heading home. But Chris Dickerson played it safe near the bag and didn't have an opportunity. He may have had an opportunity to hold on and maybe tag out Flaherty to keep him in a rundown.
But if he had caught it and then looked at the runner coming from first and engaged him in a rundown, then they still would have had time to throw home. So yeah, it's a split second call. It's a tough one. This one gets away from Castro, and the run scores. On a wild pitch, Dickerson comes home, and now the play the Astros did not make has really hurt them. It's 3-1 Baltimore.
What are you taught as a middle infielder on that first and third? Guy stops after he takes off from first base. Are you taught that above all you have to be concerned about the guy on third?
We're in the top of the fourth inning. And for me as a middle infielder, I'm going to the bag. My first priority is to get outs. And if I have a guaranteed out with that runner at first base in a rundown, I'm going to go after that run. If we're in the 7th, 8th, and 9th, I may change my priority to that runner at third base. But also, when I go to cover that bag, somebody's screaming runner out of my periphery. I'm keeping an eye on that guy. But early on in the situation like this, like Brownie was pointing out, that runner stopped pretty early for Marwin to recognize that. I think he would have had a chance. You can see Dickerson, a little hesitation, but wasn't going home. But this early in the game, the priority is to get as many outs as you can, as quick as you can. And I think getting that runner in between first and second might have been the better option.
It's intriguing. Look at that stop action there. The two runners were just about equidistant from the bags.
It was good. I mean, maybe if Marwin makes a snap throw, a little bit quicker decision on it, he may get Chris Dickerson at third base. Just that little hesitation.
Now 3-2.
But those things are happening so quick on the field. I mean, it's easy when you can sit here and make the read. But if he catches it and snap throws to third right there, but look at Matt Dominguez, not even near the bag. So he's got to give him a chance to be in position to make a tag if he has to.
So should Matt have reacted? And I think yes, a little earlier on this play to provide every possibility.
Yeah, as a third baseman, you recognize it's a first-third situation, and there's set plays put on that he probably didn't know about.
Teegarden strikes out. 25 pitch inning for Bud Norris, and the Orioles take the lead 3-1.
over the Astros. We want to remind you to tune in to Chevy Hometown Kids every Saturday morning at 9:30 on CSN. Chevy Hometown Kids, where it's not about the score but the experience. I think that kid's getting a little experience from mom right there, getting a talking to. That's what you got to do. Drive those runners in.
Future draft choices right here in the crowd.
Power hitting first baseman.
Yeah.
That's going to go early.
I like it.
Hard throwing right-hander.
On the top of the fourth inning, 3 runs on 4 hits by the Orioles. The play on Flaherty making it to second ruled a stolen base for Flaherty. And Dickerson stayed at third, and then he scored on a wild pitch. So a 3-run inning. And that's been very rare against Bud Norris at home this year. He gave up 5 runs against Oakland in his second home start, but only 2 of those were earned. There's a strike to Carlos Pena. Now the Astros try to play comeback here. Pena struck out in the first inning. And with the shift on, Machado's way over, but the bunt will bring the pitcher over to field it. So if he didn't get it by the pitcher, he didn't have much of a shot at it, and Gonzalez got Pena. A good thought. Good thought, because it was wide open for him on the left side.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea to try to start an inning, but when you miss like that and bring it right back to the mound, that probably quells that thought in other good scenarios later in the season.
That stings, too.
Yep.
You just hate to get out in that situation where it's a great idea, just bad location.
Strike to Carter. And he lays off. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. You know, as we were talking about the draft strategy of the Astros, many have speculated that they will attempt to do what they did last year, and that is save money on their first pick so they can spend it later.
Well, that doesn't seem likely with Appel, does it?
Does not seem likely, although, as you pointed out, one of you two guys pointed out, he doesn't have the leverage he did a year ago. Since he's now a college senior. He could go to independent ball, but the wages are not very high there. And that would be a waiting game until going back into the draft again next year. There's what they can spend. 7.790 for the first pick. But they could go over that, correct, Ash? And then not have as much to spend later.
Well, I guess that's the way it works. I'm actually still not comfortable with the way all this slotting goes. But Gray is a guy that I can't imagine taking much less, if any, if he should get selected number 1.
That's strike 3 call, and now number 2 for Gonzalez. Well, it's interesting in a lot of ways. You know, how does the player see himself? How attuned to making top dollar as a draft choice is he? Last year, to listen to Carlos Correa, after he took considerably less than the Astros might have spent on the number 1 overall pick, he seemed to have a sense of team and the organization, and he even said, I want to make my money as a major league player. So if the player has that kind of sense about himself and realizes that the money that he didn't take is going to be spent on his future teammates, maybe he does sign for less.
It's a pretty heady young man.
Yeah, it's rare.
You got to scout the talent as well as the character, and they did a pretty good job of that last year with Carlos.
Sure did.
I wonder how his signing bonus affected everybody behind him in the draft. You know, because usually that first pick is the top dollar, and everybody adjusts off of that.
Popped up, and the second sacker's out for it. Flaherty with the play for an easy 4th inning for Gonzalez and a 3-1 lead.
inning here at Minute Maid Park. MLB.com at Bat is the #1 source for live baseball everywhere you go. Available for iPhone, iPad, Android, and BlackBerry 10. At Bat delivers Astros baseball with live audio, pitch tracking, stats, news, highlights, and more. Text at Bat to 31826 or visit Astros.com for details, guys.
Thanks, Julia. Day game here, getaway day for both these clubs. The hair pulling.
These kids have good grips, man. You got to watch out. They don't have much control of their skulls, but they can grab onto anything.
But Norris going to work here in the 5th inning. Trails 3-1 after a 3-run Oriole 4th. Nate McLouth is the man who gets it started. He's grounded out twice. McLouth, going back to his National League days, has faced Bud before, and he was 0 for 8 lifetime against Norris. Bud seldom struggles to get outs here at Minute Maid Park. There's 2 balls, no strikes. Came into this game ranked 8th in the American League in home ERA with that 2.03 figure. Over the last 2 years, 7-2 with a 1.83 at home in 18 starts in Houston. Now it's 3-0. With Machado on deck. And that last fastball for ball 3 was quite a ways from the fastball he threw to Dickerson, another left-handed hitter, and got him looking in the 2nd inning. And now a 4-pitch walk.
It's kind of interesting to look at the notes too. 2013 during day games, he's 0-2 with a 7.24 ERA in 3 games started. And one of those games was that day game in Oakland where he only went, I think it was 1/3 of an inning or 2/3 of an inning. 2/3 of an inning, giving up 6 earned runs. So
yeah, for me, take out that one game and what is he in day games?
Man, I got to get up.
Yeah, and a lot of times it's that
so
one
skewed
game that can just mess it all up.
Okay.
Well, it would turn it into 5 earned runs over 13 innings.
Still going to be higher than what he has done at nighttime.
And you think pitching here at Minute Maid would offset that?
So what do you do if you're not a good day game performer? What do you do to change that?
Don't get traded to the Cubs.
Man, yeah. Find the right product that's legal.
You get up at 5 in the morning and
just don't sleep.
Act like it's a night game.
Maybe ask Minute Maid to tint the windows a little bit more.
0-2 the count.
Do not sleep at all until after your outing.
Well, you know, you joke about that, but back in the days when the Cubs did not have lights at Wrigley Field, that was a major consideration for them when they were trading for a guy who wasn't very good in day games. Not that they had advanced metrics back in those days.
And you certainly wouldn't want Josh Hamilton and his blue eyes.
Yeah, those light eyes during day games will cause you some issues.
Is that okay? All right.
You missed that one too, Brett. That was a good conversation.
I did hear you guys talking about that. And the sunglasses. That was good stuff.
I used to went out and got the doctor's note.
Got to have the doctor's note. You got to have your hall pass.
It's got to be a hypoallergenic stadium. Poor guy.
If the scouts are listening to us right now, their eyes are starting to spin back in their heads.
Well, they usually do when they're listening to us.
Got to open the door, didn't you, Ash?
2 balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, does that go? We got to talk to Dave Post and Michael Ice and see if that goes into any equations.
There's very little that does not go into those equations.
I have a feeling these guys are far too wise to listen to us.
Well, this is an interesting time, though, for those scouts. They're all assembled over there. They have been there for days, comparing all their notes, talking over. And from what Jeff Luhnow was telling us, they'll talk about each player for 10 to 15 minutes. Just make absolutely certain they have all the input they can possibly get.
It's got to be nerve-wracking for those guys.
Runner takes off. There's a bouncer up the middle, and Cedeno will make the throw to first. McLouth gets to second on the Machado ground out. 1 out. So with McLeod running, the Orioles get another man into scoring position for Chris Davis. And Davis, for Buck Showalter, batting third for only the second time this season. He led off the fourth inning with a single, and that touched off the 3-run uprising after he struck out in the first. It was suggested by a writer recently that maybe Davis should hit third because of the excellent on-base averages of McLeod, 370, and Machado, 358, in front of him being higher than the guys he has been hitting behind when he's been batting fifth. Davis has certainly been blazing a trail that's rarely been seen for the first 60 games. There's strike one. According to Stats Incorporated, Chris Davis is the first player since 1921 to have 20 homers and 20 doubles in less than 60 team games. This is number 60 today. Babe Ruth had 19 doubles and 24 homers in his first 59 games in 21. That's a very fine pitch.
Well, Babe was probably stretching doubles into triples, though.
Well, he was young enough at that age. He might have been. And then there was Albert Bell. He had 25 doubles and 12 homers in his first 59 games in 1995.
Joey?
Joey. For a while, and then don't call me Joey anymore, or you could be in some physical trouble. It was a shot foul.
All that over a name, huh?
Yeah, all that over a name.
It's Michael Velasquez out of Seabrook making the play on that foul ball.
I didn't have any 50 anniversary.
It's Angie who wound up with it.
That's why I did that.
Angie's going to have cotton candy all in her hair at the end of the day.
Time called. Since July 29th last year, the Orioles have the second best winning percentage in baseball behind Atlanta. Now, they really gained a lot of respect with what they did reaching the playoffs last season, but again this year they're in a dogfight with Boston and New York this time. Not that Boston was a factor last year, but Red Sox have certainly regained respect themselves with a 36-24 record. They lead the Yankees by a game and a half.
What has happened to the Blue Jays?
Only Alan Ashby could answer that question.
Goodness, huge trade this offseason.
Everybody was laughing at me from Toronto about leaving at a time when they were going to win the World Series. Hasn't quite worked out that way.
Oh. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, losing Jose Reyes didn't help their cause at all, but the starting pitching wasn't good at the start of the year. Got some talented players, and wouldn't be surprised to see them bounce back to some degree, but the way the Red Sox are playing and even the way the Yankees have hung in, Tampa Bay, these clubs have a way of winning.
They do have that tradition, don't they? It'll be Baltimore at Tampa Bay this weekend. Good movement on the heater, and Davis strikes out.
Now, there were many who were saying that the toughest division in Major League Baseball was the American League West. They've certainly got some good teams, but I think the AL East still might be the division.
Log on to csnhouston.com and click on In-Game Live to enhance your Astros experience via computer, smartphone, or tablet. Get in-depth stats and join the social buzz In-Game Live only on csnhouston.com.
American League East. This should be a most interesting race to follow. Here's Adam Jones. He had an RBI double in the fourth to tie the game at 1. He's 1 for 2. Foul back, strike 1. So we see the Yankees trailing Boston and the Orioles and then the Rays. 4 teams within 3 games of each other. And as Alan Ashby has told us, the Blue Jays are going to have a very rough road because they are 9 games under 500, but they have 4 teams in front of them
You know, my argument against the Blue Jays just becoming that automatic World Series team was that, and they brought in some big names from the Marlins, but as they brought them in from the Marlins a year ago, those Marlins were not world beaters. And so, you know, sometimes you look to see how these guys impact a ball club. Mark Burley, Jose Reyes. I think there was a
Josh Johnson.
Josh Johnson was a big
Josh
one.
Johnson, yes. So there were very big talent, big name guys coming that way.
Brandon Barnes back in center field. Takes care of that one on the 75th pitch for Bud Norris. It's 3-1 Orioles. Sportsnet is brought to you by the Chipotle Chicken Club Combo, which is back for a limited time at Jack in the Box. Try one today with fries and a drink for just $4.99 plus tax. The Orioles lead the Astros 3-1 here in Minute Maid Park, downtown Houston, Texas. Air-conditioned comfort on a very warm and steamy day outside. Matt Dominguez leads it off. And he gets a breaking pitch. There's strike one. Matt struck out in the second inning. Miguel Gonzalez has done well since giving up that first inning run on the sacrifice fly by J.D. Martinez. He's only allowed one scratch hit since the first. And it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. He needed only 10 pitches to get through the 1, 2, 3, 4th for Gonzalez. This after giving up 5 earned runs in 6 innings against Detroit in his last start, a no decision. That's ripped on a line into left center field. McCobb coming over to pick it up and hold Dominguez to a sharp single. There's a start for the Astros here in the 5th.
Yeah, Matt Dominguez just gets one up and out over the plate. Nice backspin job. Slicing right through that baseball.
That was a laser. Nate McLeod cheating a little bit in that gap. Off of Matt Dominguez, having himself a solid series.
There's a board for Marwin Gonzalez. Reached on that infield hit off Miguel Gonzalez's glove. He stole second, but he was stranded at third in the 3rd inning. That's strike one for Gonzalez. Gonzalez has not won since he beat Toronto April 23rd. Time was not granted, and the strike was called. He called time too late, and the umpire did not acknowledge that. So it's 0-2, and Bo Porter saying, wait, he put his hand up, but the umpire does not have to grant that request for time, and Paul Himmel did not grant it. It's just too late. The pitcher's too close to delivering that pitch.
That was too late, and a lot of guys I know in the last couple years of my career were taught, instead of putting that hand up and asking for timeout, keep both hands on the bat and ask verbally for timeout so you don't risk that situation.
Very good advice. Where you're ready to hit if you don't get it.
Yeah, that's my reaction. Just because a hitter throws his hand up or says time doesn't mean time. And so I'm a little bit surprised at the reaction right there on the right-hand side of the field here. Home plate umpire calls it when he thinks it's appropriate.
Brandon Barnes on deck. Now Gonzalez is behind 0-2. Marwin. Big cut there. Tomorrow night it's Jordan Lyles opening the series in Kansas City against James Shields. The Alan Ashby, Jeff Blum, and Julia Morales show gets underway with Astros pregame live at 6:30.
Ashby and Blum just a supporting cast.
That's for sure.
A couple of side notes.
Just kidding, guys. Ground ball to third. Machado to second. Flaherty relaying on to Davis for a double play. And now 2 outs, nobody on for Brandon Barnes.
That's just hitting into tough luck for Marwin. Hits the ball pretty sharply, but right at guy on the left side.
Standard position on a left-handed hitter like that. But yeah, that's just bad luck. Marwin Gonzalez actually did a good job of letting that ball travel and hit a bullet to third base.
Now it's Brandon Barnes. He singled and scored in the first inning, put down a sac bunt in the third. And this one goes behind second base. Flaherty out into shallow center field to end the 5th inning with Baltimore up 3-1.
Inning, and 2013 All-Star voting is now open. Help send your favorite Astros, including last year's All-Star Jose Altuve, to 2013 Midsummer Classic in New York City. Vote early and vote often at Astros.com. All-Star voting closes July 4th.
You guys got pummeled on the bench last night. Jose Altuve sitting it out on an 8-game hitting streak today. He tweaked a groin, running to first in his final at-bat of the game last night. So he's due to miss the game tomorrow night in Kansas City as well and return Saturday, Bo Porter said. Matt Wieters leads it off, 3-1 Orioles. Wieters has one of their 6 hits off Bud Norris. Another excellent pitch. Strike one. Fastball down around the knees.
I thought Bo was getting a little concerned because Altuve was getting hot. Try and cool him off.
It's tough to sit a guy on a hitting streak, but in this case, reasons have nothing to do with his hitting.
Especially a guy like Altuve who wants to play every day. You know something's nagging him a little bit.
Who plays such a solid second base. I think that he's a guy on the team. I don't want to say the guy that everybody looks to, but he's a quality player.
Pretty tough to look up to him, but you can look to him for leadership.
If you're going to go there, I'm going to leave you alone.
2 balls and a strike.
Seems like he was getting that pitch earlier in the game. He's just not getting it now.
Yep.
Well, Porter had a talk with the home plate umpire, Paul Emmel, after the 5th inning, probably about that Marwin Gonzalez attempt to get timeout granted, and Emmel failed to give him that timeout, called the pitch strike 2. Grounded to second. Marwin there, turning that into out number 1. Back in 1992, the Astros had the first choice overall in the draft, and they selected infielder Phil Nevin from Cal State Fullerton.
Who was the second pick?
Second pick?
No, who was?
Who was the second pick? Don't remember.
Derek Jeter.
Oh, that's right.
I know Phil Nevin pretty well, and so I'm having stories told between him and I.
Oops.
Yeah. This one I can tell. It was about that draft year, and the scout that had drafted it, that had recommended Phil Nevin be that number 1 pick, had also scouted Derek Jeter. And when it came down to it, at that moment of decision making, he said, you know, pick Derek Jeter. They picked Phil Nevin instead. The next day, the scout retired. Tells you how he felt about that first pick.
Well, in fact, that scout was Hal Newhouser, who's a former MVP and a Hall of Fame pitcher with Detroit. And he felt that strongly about Jeter, and there was a story about that today. So it's interesting to look back all those years in retrospect and see what might have happened. And there are those scenarios for every single team. If you hadn't taken this guy, you had taken that guy, look what might have happened to change the history of your franchise.
Yeah, but you know, that one in particular, I think that's a
tough call.
You know how the old Batman cartoon used to have oops and bam and boom and all the stuff go. That's an oops right there.
Homer Simpson with a don't. But Phil had a good career.
He did.
I mean,
yeah, he did.
He admittedly said, you know, maybe a little naive when he first came up and some of the decision making and how he went about his business, but eventually turned out to be a quality player for the San Diego Padres for quite a while.
Sure did. And he's now AAA manager at Toledo. Ground ball up the middle and a single for J.J. Hardy. He's 3 for 3 in this game. Austin Meadows is one of the top high school talents in this year's draft from Georgia. And he's 6'3", has tons of power. He's ranked number 5 by MLB.com. Just 18 years old.
Still the size on these guys, 6'3", 200 at the age of 18. Grief. I was 6'3", about $160 soaking wet.
Clint Frazier is playing has played against Austin Meadows many times. Just living a few miles away from him, playing for a different high school, so the scouts have come in to see both of those guys. Dickerson the batter now. Dickerson's 0 for 2. There's Ballman. Julia?
Hey guys, well, you guys were talking about some size on some players. Chris Carter's draft experience. He looks back at it and thinks, what if? Because when he was drafted, he was 6'1", 180. If you just look at him right now, 6'5", 245 about is where he is now. So can you imagine if he would have waited, maybe gone to school? But again, he said it all worked out for the best.
Well, you bring up an interesting point of how things can change after the player is drafted.
Well, his maturity level as a human being and a man, and a maturity level physically.
Yes.
That's why I think that kid out in San Diego being 6'5", 215, I mean, he's got a lot of potential to put on some solid muscle and continue to drive the ball out of the ballpark. And I think it's a big thing for these guys to have those physiques that can withstand a 162-game schedule.
Excellent point.
Then you have Jose Altuve.
Yep.
Who does it consistently at 5'5", 5'6".
You know, that's the thing, though. You can find the guy that looks good on the beach, and he may not play half the games over a season, and then the guy that may not be all that impressive physically, but he's just right for this game.
And Jose Altuve spending that much time in the minor leagues consistently hitting 300, you wonder if that was the knock against him and why he didn't get that much movement within the organization because of his size. But he's proven he can hit.
Well, I know nothing about his early professional background, but my guess would be that for the scout that saw him initially, it was quite a sell job to try to get him, number one, taken by the Astros, put on a minor league team. But then once you get to see the guy play, that's when a manager is going to say, hey, don't worry about the size of this guy. This guy can play.
Exactly. Well, the story was that Jose Altuve came to a tryout at the Astros Venezuelan Academy, and he was sent home, and he was told, no, we're not going to sign you. And then he came back the next day.
Good for him.
Said, I want to do this again. And they signed him. In the air to shallow center field. Ronnie Cedeno underneath. 2 outs. Now, how many guys would do that? Just come back again the next day.
Not too many. You wish more guys would be as tenacious as he was. So that's that intangible that maybe they were looking for. Guys got to drive to be a big leaguer. And I think that those two kids in Georgia you were talking about earlier, those guys definitely want to play the game bad.
They want it. They do want it.
I'll say again of Altuve, if he got a chance to actually perform in some sort of inter-squad game, whatever the case was, that's where he would show that he could play the game.
And a lot of players just don't strike scouts that way if they've seen them 10 times. If they've seen them for 3 years, it might be different.
And I'll say over and over, for a scout, of course, you're talking about a different nature of things when you're talking about a kid in Venezuela. But for a scout to say to his scouting director, say, I've got this guy, he's really a good-looking player. What are his measurements? And he's 5'4". Probably you're not going to continue that phone call very long.
I think you're right. That'll be the last thing that he gives him an update on.
Well, Billy Wagner was a 5'10" left-handed pitcher, and he really got graded down because of that. Ground ball to second. Marwin on over to Chris Carter. And in the 6th inning, it's no runs a hit and a man left. 3-1 Orioles.
next rowdy crowd here at Minute Maid Park. It's 3-1 Baltimore. They're getting excited around me. Check out, or Orbit Bobble Belly Night is coming. That's what I should say. Saturday, June 15th, Astros take on the Chicago White Sox at 6:15. Be sure to get Minute Maid Park early, as 10,000 fans will receive an Orbit Bobble Belly courtesy of Coca-Cola. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS to get your tickets now. And guys, I want you to take a look at this video. I know you saw it, but Orbit having a tough go at it at work last night, trying to just make it over a rail, doing his job, you know, trying to visit the fans. Well, we thought he might have injured himself. But as you can see here, I've been standing right in front of my camera view. You probably don't see him yet, but he's fine and well today, feeling good. I asked him if he had to get treatment. He said he just got a little treatment, you know, just had to stretch out the hammy a little bit. But all is well. You saw him just persevering today. Hey, Orbit, how you doing?
Julia, is that the same Orbit we saw last night?
It is.
You're kidding. He doesn't look the same at all.
Well, he's green. I don't know.
As long as he doesn't pull a muscle in that all-important belly.
Well, look at him there, Julia.
Well, if he lost a couple of lbs off that belly, he might have made the jump.
Yeah, he looks decidedly thinner and more agile today than he did last night.
He looks thinner today. Oh, he'd love to hear that. You look thinner today, Orbit. Looking good.
Looks like he's wearing one of Bruce Bochy's old hats.
Oh, Paredes goes down on the 0-2 pitch.
Did you just say that about my old teammate?
Oh, my old manager, yeah. That looks like it fit him pretty good.
Well, unfortunately, Orbit is all worked up right now.
He's not camera shy.
No. Jimmy taps and foul.
Is it a good thing when you tell a mascot it looks like he's lost a few pounds?
No, that's not a compliment. He's supposed to be round and fuzzy.
He's got plenty of that.
I'm impressed by his work ethic. Does not stop.
How is he on the interview, Julia?
He's quiet. You know, he doesn't talk much, but we work with it.
Okay.
I'm starting to learn the Orbit language.
Oh, really? What is he saying, Julia?
Lots of hand signals. Lots of hugs.
Oh.
Kids flock to Orbit. Meanwhile, Paredes struck out for the third time in this game. Rough day for Jimmy. And Jason Castro comes up. He's doubled and he's walked. The walk was intentional. And that worked out for Miguel Gonzalez because then he got J.D. Martinez next. And there's ball one.
I'd like to go back to that Phil Nevin comment.
Yes.
About that draft. I was lucky enough to have some fans out there watching this game and enjoying the commentary, and they corrected me. Derek Jeter was taken 6th in that draft.
Okay.
So Phil Nevin, number 1. Yeah. There's another
5 times.
Yeah. Who else quit their job that day?
Yeah, there were other teams who passed on Derek.
I'm not sure about the teams in what order, but Paul Shuey was the 2nd pick, B.J. Wallace the 3rd pick, Jeffrey Hammonds the 4th pick, Chad Mottola the 5th pick, Derek Jeter the 6th.
Well,
there were some misses there.
Chad Mottola at least is a fine hitting coach in the big leagues these days. But rest of those names.
I played against Jeffrey Hammonds in college, and he was amazing in college ball. Could fly, had a lot of pop.
He's a Stanford guy, right?
Yes, he was. Faced Paul Shuey. Had a devastating split finger.
You know, that's probably a little bit of the same conversation we're having about Altuve, though. With Derek Jeter, as a young kid, he wasn't going to display a lot of power. Probably didn't have the great arm of the guys you perceive, the Sean Dunston type shortstop. Didn't grade out as the big tool guy, but boy, in terms of heart and ability to play the game, that's where he stands out. And I guess I would say Jose Altuve is some version of that guy. You know, I don't want to jump out there too far, but just a guy that can really play the game.
I think looking back at these drafts is awesome. Yeah. Pretty interesting to see how these guys pan out. It makes it a lot of fun. Really opens up a whole slew of conversations that you could be having.
Oh, yeah.
Different teams, different needs. But like you said, you know, you look back and maybe see a photo of Derek Jeter. You know, you don't know how he's going to pan out.
Shortstop back. J.J. Hardy with a catch, 2 outs.
Some of you watching this game right now don't have CSN in your own home. If your TV provider doesn't carry CSN yet, call and tell them you want CSN so you can have the very best coverage of your Astros. This is your network, Astros fans. You deserve it. To get the facts, go to iwantscsnhouston.com.
2 outs, and Miguel Gonzalez moves through the first 2 here in the 6th inning with a 3-1 lead. That's J.D. Martinez, who drove in the Astros run with a sac fly in the first, then he grounded out the pitcher. And this one off Gonzalez at the second base. Flaherty barehanded throwing, and the throw pulls Davis off the base. It was a carom shot, and Flaherty rushed the ball and barehanded, but his throw was offline, and Davis had to come off first base. So it's a single for J.D. Martinez. And now they go out to check Miguel Gonzalez.
I'm glad they gave him the hit on that. J.D. did a good job and hit a bullet up the middle. Gonzalez really didn't have a chance to get out of the way. He tried to defend himself, but deflected it to the second baseman. Flaherty made a great play on it.
Hanging slide piece, and that winds up right on the left forearm.
I don't anticipate that being too much of an issue for Gonzalez, especially the way he's pitching tonight against the Astros.
Right foot came off the bag.
You know what happened there for Chris Davis, and it's a short throw, so it's tough, but you get that front foot planted too early and you're stuck just falling to one side or the other instead of stepping in that direction.
Yeah, in a perfect world, you like to gather yourself a little bit and then react to the throw, but he got that foot out there early. Good call.
Now the shift is on for Pena. He's 0 for 2. There's Davis pulling the foot off the bag.
Yeah, that limited amount of space in between those two didn't allow him the time to get that stride leg out where he needed it.
Darren O'Day's warming up in the bullpen, a right-hander. Pena struck out and tried to bunt his way on, but Gonzalez threw him out. That's ball 1. Cheo Cruz is all ready to represent the Astros tonight at MLB Network Studio 42 for the draft, as well as Oz Ocampo, the director of international for the Astros. They'll be there in New York or New Jersey.
That should be entertaining.
You know that.
Cheo.
Cheo said he might be a little nervous.
Him?
Yeah, it's hard to believe, isn't it?
No, I'm not buying into that line at all.
2-0. As we look at Darren O'Day. And Jeff Luhnow and Mike Elias, the amateur scouting director, will be here at the press conference room about 6:15 p.m. Central Time after the Astros make their first pick. This will be the 4th time in history the Astros have had the first overall pick. They selected Floyd Bannister with the first pick in the 1976 draft, and then Nevin in '92 and Correa last year. Let's see how these guys are doing. Well, Correa just got Player of the Month honors at Quad Cities. Had a big month of May. Springer is just killing it at AA Corpus. DeShields heating up now, 280 at Lancaster. Giovanni Meyer has struggled at Corpus, and Jason Castro, as you know, is doing a nice job for the Astros.
Those numbers indicated that Delano DeShields is not likely to get anywhere near that 100 stolen base mark again this year. But, you know, I think the higher you get up pro ball, a guy that can really steal a lot of bags is going to be challenged all the more.
No doubt.
Pitchers are going to quicken up on you, and you have to pick and choose your running times.
94 pitches for Miguel Gonzalez. To center field, Jones backing on it. Jones still going back. That one carried a long way, about 400 feet. But it's out number 3, and it's no runs, a hit, and a man left after 6, 3-1 Baltimore.
Join us for the Astros and the White Sox on June 14th as we celebrate Orbit's birthday. That's with a big and bright Friday night. 10,000 fans will receive a big and bright T-shirt courtesy of the Methodist Hospital System. Stay after the game for a spectacular alien-themed fireworks show that's presented by Marathon Oil. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit Astros.com to get your tickets. You can do it right now.
Friday, June 14th. A very big day. Orbit climbing around.
Be careful on those things, man.
He's risking injury again today. Taylor Teagarden leads it off. It's 3-1 Orioles. Bud Norris back out after 92 pitches. Took him through the first 6.
Orbit's got that big old head. You think he'd have a brain inside of it, huh?
Well, don't rush to judgment now. Here's strike one. Bullpen is busy for Houston. 20 of 27 first pitch strikes for Bud Norris now. He's given up 7 hits. Jose Cisnero, a right-hander, and lefty Wesley Wright are at work in the bullpen. So it appears that Bo Porter might be going batter by batter here with Bud Norris as far as leaving him in the game.
I like keeping Bud extended. Maybe sets a tone for the rest of the starters.
Ooh, that's a strikeout on appeal to Jerry Meals. It's number 7 for Bud. Dallas Keuchel went 6 last night. Lucas Harrell 7 the night before. There's a swing. Eric Bedard went 7. So the Astros starting pitchers have taken a load off the bullpen lately. Nate McLouth is 0 for 2 with a walk. Final in from Detroit, 5-2 the Tigers. They beat Tampa Bay. There's ball 1. And Max Scherzer, who is undefeated, won that one. He is 8-0. Jose Valverde got save number 7. Ramon Hernandez was the loser. 1 ball, 1 strike. He is the artist formerly known as Fausto Carmona in Cleveland, correct?
Whatever you say, Brownie.
Okay.
That is correct.
He had an alias for his alias?
Yeah.
Oh.
Had a symbol he used there for a while, but
there's Cedeno underneath this pop-up, and that's out number 2. Machado's next.
Didn't work well on the phone, he found.
Machado is 0 for 3 in this game, but good looking player. It's been fun to see him as the Orioles have made their first trip to Houston since 03. Ball 1 for Bud Norris. He's at 99 pitches now.
Just that 3rd inning is all Bud Norris would like to remove from this game. That's where they got him. He's been pretty consistent and throwing well otherwise.
It's a 1 ball 1 strike count. Yeah, and he continues to be hit with the lack of run support.
4th inning, my fault.
Single by Davis, RBI double by Jones, RBI single by Hardy, and a run on a wild pitch. 1-2. This could be the 9th consecutive game Bud Norris has started in which the Astros did not score more than 3 runs. It's the longest streak since Doug Drabek in '93. He had 11 straight starts without the Astros scoring more than 3. Liner into left center field, and a hit from Machado. He's on with a 2-out single for Chris Davis.
No wonder he has so many hits if he can turn tricks like this.
That was a great pitch by Bud. He just did a better job of hitting it. And why don't we take a look inside the lines? Is brought to you by Scotch Blue Painter's Tape. Scotch Blue, see what you can do. This is that 1st and 3rd play, the double steal in action, and Marwin Gonzalez with a tough play, watching the runner out of both corners of his eye. Realizing he might have had a shot at Chris Dickerson, but he gets back easy, allowing believe that was Flaherty to get to second base, and then the ensuing wild pitch allows Chris Dickerson to score.
Yeah.
All a part of that fourth inning when the Orioles got to Bud.
Do you think there was a way to get that lead out at third base there one step earlier for Marwin?
That would have been tough. He would have had to have led Matt Dominguez on that throw to third base.
That's into right field. Davis with a single. Machado goes churning. The ball's dropped by Paredes, so he'll get to third without a throw. And Davis is now 2 for 4.
Just think Chris Dickerson's a pretty good base runner, has that quickness about him, and made getting back to that bag that much easier.
One big difference in Chris Davis this year is the batting average. He's always had pop in the bat, but now he's the real deal. He's hitting for stellar high average, and then the power game among the very best.
Doug Brocail's going out. Adam Jones will be the batter. Well, the Orioles have 3 players who are hitting .320 or better on the road this year for at least 100 at bats. Machado .368, Davis .356, and Adam Jones .321. That's the most for any team in the majors.
What would Doug Brocail say if he were the pitcher in this scenario? You kidding me? Of course I'm ready to go. And that's what I would love, and I would imagine is coming out of Bud Norris as well. You're the ace of the staff. I need to get through at least this inning. And you want to hear some of that brashness sometimes from the guy on the hill.
That was the clean version.
103 pitches for Bud Norris. Chris Davis now has hit .412 since May 9th.
May have gone out there and said, hey, this is your last hitter, go get him. Give him a little bit of a breather, regroup.
Yeah, bravado's not a bad thing on the hill.
No.
Fouled away, strike 1 to Jones.
94 on that heater.
Yeah, I've been out there when guys have kind of laid the lines like, you try to take me right now and just see how far it gets you.
It's got to be entertaining.
It can be that.
Foul back, and it snowballs 2 strikes to Jones.
But you'd rather have that guy than the guy that says, I've got nothing.
Well, you know, guys overextend themselves. They think they can get the job done. Maybe their feeling isn't one of being all that strong. But being resourceful counts for a lot. Bouncer shortstop, Cedeno with the flip. And there's the force out to end the top of the 7th inning. No runs, 2 hits, and 2 men left. And after 6.5, it's 3-1 Orioles. Leading the Astros here at the 7th inning stretch. Fans have taken their stretch. Orbit out entertaining, and Darren O'Day comes out of the bullpen to take over after 27 games. His record is 3-0 with a 1.78 ERA after Miguel Gonzalez gave his club a solid 6 innings, and he allowed 5 hits, 1 run, walking 1, fanning 7. He threw 95 pitches, 66 were strikes. And O'Day with 19 hits allowed in 25 1/3 innings comes from that arm angle that makes it very tough on right-handed batters, and 3 right-handed hitters scheduled to face him here in the home 7th: Carter, Cedeno, and Dominguez.
Tends to keep the ball in the ballpark. Just 2 home runs allowed among those hits.
Baltimore bullpen has 13 wins this year, in this case trying to protect a win for Gonzalez.
If you think a guy that drops down like this, a right-hander, would be tough on right-hand hitters, in this case you would be certainly right. Righties have hit just 130 against O'Day.
Boy, that was a tiny batting average. Chris Carter struck out twice against Miguel Gonzalez. O'Day has retired the first batter on 20 occasions out of 27. That's a strike call. O'Day, 30 years old, from Jacksonville, Florida, went to the University of Florida. And last year he was a key component for Buck Showalter's bullpen, appearing 69 times, winning 7, losing 1 with a 2.28 ERA. Shortstop is there, Hardy. 1 out. O'Day began his career in the Angel organization. They belong to New York and Texas. Ronnie Cedeno is 0 for 2. Bud Norris has thrown 106 pitches in 7 innings. Bullpen continues to work for Houston. Cedeno's had a fantastic batting average against left-handed pitching this year. Ronnie takes a look at ball 1. And the Astros were held down. They arrived about 5 a.m. from Anaheim, and they lost Tuesday after that early arrival 4-1. Baltimore pitching did a nice job limiting them to 5 hits. Last night the Houston bats really came alive with 14 hits and 11 runs. And once again today the Birds pitchers are having their way of it. Rolled up the middle, Hardy. Quick throw to first, 2 outs. The Astros fired out with a first inning run, but there might have been more. J.D. Martinez with runners at 2nd and 3rd hit a deep drive to right field, and Chris Dickerson made an outstanding catch to limit the damage to 1 run on a sacrifice fly in that first inning, and that is one of the big outs in this game. And Dominguez has one of the 5 Houston hits. That was a sharp single over shortstop in the 5th. He's 1 for 2.
One other big out I would point to is the Jimmy Paredes strikeout, the 2nd out in the 3rd inning. Runner on 3rd base at the time, and Astros leading 1-0, trying to tack on and just kind of take that early lead.
Yeah, that was. No balls, 2 strikes. Fastball around 87, but the velocity doesn't really describe trying to hit this guy, does it, Jeff?
Now these guys come from those angles underneath, create so much movement on the ball, it makes it real tough. That sinker really dives into right-handed hitters. A slider, it's almost like a frisbee, almost breaks up and away from right-handed hitters.
He wanted that pitch up, and that's where he threw it to Teagarden.
Just an awkward angle when you're taught to look around the bill of the cap on a pitcher where he's to pick up his release point. Here you got to totally change it and look down around the kneecaps.
Two and two.
That was that frisbee.
Now this is the perfect spot too for Buck Showalter, with 3 right-handed batters coming up in the inning, to use O'Day. Sometimes the opposing lineup will be structured so that that is not a good time to bring in a Darren O'Day type right-hander. And he gets a strikeout. He did an outstanding job with 10 pitches in the 7th inning. 3-1 Orioles.
Whether you're treating your employees, hosting clients, or bringing out your church or youth sports team, Astros baseball can create an experience your group is sure to remember. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit Astros.com to enjoy special pricing and great benefits by reserving your group or suite today. Guys.
Thanks, Julia. We go to inning number 8. Bud Norris out of the game after 106 pitches, 72 for strikes. He threw 22 of 31 first pitch strikes. Jose Cisnero relieves him. He's 1-0 with a 2.88 ERA. Cisnero has not pitched in a few days since June 1st in the Angels series. So 4 days of rest. He's almost on a starting pitching type schedule. And I think the fact that he has been a starter kind of plays into that. And as he comes in here in the 8th, if he has a 1-2-3-8th, why not send it back out for the 9th? We'll see what unfolds with Matt Wieters leading it off. Wieters is 1 for 3. Cisnero has good stuff. Inside for ball 1.
He does have good stuff. Doing a good job when he's getting called on. He's going for multiple innings, which is impressive out of that bullpen, and being a young kid, stretched out. 3 quality pitches.
1 ball, 1 strike. He signed as a free agent in 07. He's from the Dominican. Good strikeout numbers in the minors, averaging better than 1 strikeout per inning. Last year he divided between AA Corpus Christi and AAA Oklahoma City. It's 2-1. Showalter doing the same thing, his opposite number Bo Porter did last night. He's DHing his catcher. Two balls, 2 strikes. And you can see now Ash a little bit of an advantage for an American League manager in terms of the way he utilizes his catcher. Catchers need a rest from the rigors of squatting behind home plate, but if they can be allowed to DH, they can keep that bat hot. Dominguez, 1-0.
I think the Astros might have the best overall catching tandem going right now. The way Corporon has played when he gets his chances. Jason Castro, we've talked about it constantly. He looks like a stud behind the plate to me now when you're talking about a guy with the bat in his hand and the whole package that comes along.
Good night last night again for Corp. 3 hits and a walk in 4 plate appearances. J.J. Hardy takes strike 1. Hardy's 3 for 3 today with an RBI. The attendance is 14,664. Foul ball makes it 0-2. The Chicago White Sox, who have not been the same since Jeff Blum left them, will be in town on the next homestand and play the Astros.
They just haven't had that same heart about them as in the Blum days.
The post-Blum era has not been kind to the Sox.
That's what they're calling it in Chicago, aren't they?
I don't know.
PB era. The post-Ditka era with the Bears. And
1-2. Should we say hello to anybody for you?
There's not too many guys there left from that 05 team. Got to say hi to Freddie Garcia yesterday.
Yeah. You guys had some good times to remember.
Oh my goodness, yeah. That team was just as exciting off the field as they were on the field.
But that run of postseason pitching was truly remarkable that year for that team.
It was incredible.
Throw a hello out to the Hawk.
Paul Konerko. He was a great teammate when I got there. I got traded over there, and I don't think anybody on that team knew who I was when I showed up. But PK did a good job. Hooked me up with a rental car company in there and offered a couple places, you know, to stay in town. So he was definitely one of the guys that welcomed me over there.
Nice.
He's still there.
3-2. Well, back in the day, and Ash, this might have been your day. If you were a rookie, did a veteran take you shopping and buy you a suit? Was that done?
In my case, they should have. Actually, when I came up,
it was leisure suit.
Yeah,
back in the
I was
day,
just going to say, when I came up with the Indians mid-'70s, it was leisure suit time.
Oh boy. Well, he couldn't get it out of his glove to make the jump throw, and Marwin Gonzalez unable to get Hardy. He got the jumping part of it right, but couldn't get the ball out of the glove.
Well, I'm not sure he needed the jumping part, is my opinion. You plant the right foot and make a good, strong throw, and I think you get Hardy by a fairly wide margin on this play.
It's a hit. So now, what is the required treatment? Let's say you're an infielder, you get a rookie infielder on your club.
I would take care of him. There was a couple guys throughout San Diego and even here in Houston, and that I had a chance to buy a couple suits for. You know, you got to entertain these guys a little bit. It's a little bit different minimum salary than when I was coming up, or even about 5-6 years ago. And it was interesting. My second go around with the Houston Astros, we had a team that we were the oldest team in the big league, so there weren't too many rookies on that team. And I don't even know if we did have a rookie on that team, to be honest with you, until halfway through the season when a couple guys got called up. So I decided I took Jim Summers out and got him a suit. So, you know,
video guy.
You got to give guys a break every once in a while, you know, and hook them up.
So
I think it's a good tradition to keep going.
It is. Did somebody do this for you?
Yes.
Okay.
Orlando Merced back in the day, who I played back with in Houston when I got traded over in 2002, 2003. He was one of the guys that took me under his wing and helped me out. Granted, he put me through the ringer while I was on the bench playing with those guys, but the payoff in the end was worth it.
There's a looping liner into left field. And a single for Dickerson. He's 1 for 4, and first and second one out now for Flaherty. Now Cisnero, who's not giving up a hard hit ball, will try to get a double play ball from Flaherty. But back in that leisure suit era, Ash, it was quite different.
You couldn't let it go, could you?
Well, there were many bright colors to choose from.
Yeah, there were.
Oh, those massive lapels.
Yep.
Oh, you could see Ash rocking those.
And then you have to throw in a gold chain or two, don't you?
Well, I didn't really go that direction much, but
didn't you unbutton it halfway down and show some of that chest hair you were developing at the time? That's a giggle like I'm right.
Yeah.
No, that's a giggle like I wish I had been provided that kind of opportunity. No.
Well, you know, Ash was very big back in the Tom Selleck era.
Yes.
You could tell by the mustache.
Yeah.
That was impressive.
I actually had some people, when I retired and the mustache came right off, some people got angry at me. I had no idea it was going to be that kind of reaction.
You can't change your look.
Nope, you can.
Without permission. has to be a public vote on it.
There's a public domain thing there that maybe goes beyond the limitations.
2 balls, no strikes now. Cisnero needing to come up with something on Flaherty. That's a look.
Yeah, my mustache wasn't quite rocking it like that.
See, and I forgot this gentleman's name, but he's been here for ages. And he formed Los Caballitos when Carlos Lee was here. He formed that group, and they were out there in the boxes every game.
He's got to sleep on his back, huh?
Faithful fan. Well, he can never change his look now, right?
He's locked in.
He's just iconic, so there's no chance he could ever get rid of that mustache.
Shave that mustache and try walking through the mall, pal.
High drive right field. Paredes back. He's out of room at the wall. And that one sails foul. Oh, Flaherty picked on a 3-0 pitch. He was rounding first when he got the word from Jerry Meals that he has to come back home.
Feel fortunate right here.
Well, there's a couple fans up there in that right field corner screaming at it, and the ball was listening.
Boy, that's close. That is just about shaving the whiskers right there.
It's a matter of which whiskers you want to go by.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was close. Flaherty hit 6 long balls last year in 153 at bats. Ooh. 3 and 2. Well, Castro went right out after that near 3-run homer and had a brief meeting with Cisnero. Cisnero came up with a good pitch. Now 3-2 with 1 out and a 2-run lead for the Orioles. And if the Astros are to come from behind, they'll need good work here from Cisnero. Gonzalez, Barnes, and Paredes due up in the last of the 8th inning. Oh, he got him on strikes. 2 outs.
Blew a couple of hitters right on by.
He sure did.
How dare you try and take me deep? That's what Jose just said.
That's pretty impressive. Flaherty was ahead 3-0 in the count. Wound up not making contact after nearly hitting a 3-run homer.
On the same pitch he almost went deep on.
Yeah. That's a pretty good indicator that Mr. Cisnero does have good stuff. Teagarden next.
Closer stuff.
Well, that was going to be the question. It would seem that Cisnero could be potentially a starter. What would your choice be on him from what you've seen?
I guess it depends on need on the club. But at some point here, I could see him going either direction. His stuff is so electric, though, that as a closer, and he might dial it up even more if he were in that role.
On ball third. Dominguez gets it to second to Marwin Gonzalez for the forced play on Dickerson. And it's no runs, 2 hits. Nearly a 3-run inning for Baltimore, but instead still 3-1.
Baltimore Orioles 3-1. The Astros make their AL debut at Kauffman Stadium tomorrow night against the Kansas City Royals. Astros pregame live starts at 6:30 p.m. only on Comcast Sportsnet.
Let's take a look at tomorrow's pitching matchup, brought to you by Chevron. Care for your car. Of course, that takes place in Kansas City. Kauffman Stadium. Jordan Lyles, a red-hot pitcher, goes to the hill. And he's been really dealing 3-1 since May 22nd. Better than that 4.30 ERA might indicate, but he's up against a very tough one in James Shields. Guy's a monster, and he's got one of the game's great changeups.
He's also got some tough luck at 2-6
Yes, he does.
283, doesn't he?
Wow, it's crazy. Maybe George Brett will turn that around and get him some run support.
Well,
George may say, give me a bat. I'm going to take it to the plate.
I don't know. George Lyles has been throwing pretty good.
Bobby Dynamite wants to put that train in motion here with a Houston homer. Marwin Gonzalez leads off here in the 5th inning. He's 1 for 2. He got an infield hit in the 3rd and then stole 2nd. He slaps one, and there is a hit to the left side. There's a start for the Astros, and Marwin is 2 for 3.
Marwin's 1 for 2 on that slap grounder going the other way.
Yeah.
He got it past that ultimate zoner, J.J. Hardy. Just out of his reach.
You know, if you can do that a lot as a left-handed hitter, you got a chance of really hitting for a high batting average. If you can run just a bit.
Good point. Now O'Day in his 2nd inning moves along to face Brandon Barnes. Brandon Singleton scored in the 1st, put down a sac fly in the 2nd, popped to 2nd in the 5th. There's ball 1 in tight as he jumps back. Jimmy Paredes is on deck with the bullpen busy for the Birds. Lefty Brian Mattis is warming up. And then Castro would follow Paredes. Paredes a switch hitter, so Mattis is getting loose for any possibility here in the 8th.
Brownie, it's time for that big swing.
Yeah. Well, 2 balls, no strikes.
Get that mistake. Don't miss it. Get Bud Norris off the hook.
Joe Tremblay, former skipper of the Orioles, with signs. The Orioles have 11 hits. They've stranded 9. The Astros have 6 hits. They've left 4. It's 2-1. Baltimore is 2 for 11 with runners in scoring position. So the Astros, even though they grabbed a 1-0 lead after 1, have trailed since the 3-run 4th. Baltimore has squandered some opportunities. Houston would like to make this a big 8th inning. Orioles closer is Jim Johnson. Out foul. It's a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Bud Norris now has 7 quality starts in his last 8 trips to the mound. The Astros continue to do a job, and they have been in a lot of these games because the starting pitching has been so sound. Out of play, still 2 balls, 2 strikes to Brandon Barnes.
Brownie, do you happen to have any idea if Jose Altuve is available in a pinch hitting role?
That question did not come up. Usually with a groin type injury, that type player would not be available because the manager or the training staff would not want him to run and blow it out.
I guess especially if you've already been told Altuve likely won't play tomorrow.
That's the word. Fly ball, deep right field. Dickerson back. And on the warning track, he has it. A late tag by Marwin, but he'll hold it first on a long out, number 1 by Brandon Barnes.
Thought for a moment Brandon Barnes had come up with that big swing.
Yep.
Good pass on it. I thought he got enough of it too. 2 strikes, maybe not putting everything into it, but still drove it pretty well to right center field. Just found that niche out there where the wall juts back a little bit.
He's got some pretty good pop.
Jimmy Paredes is 0 for 3, 3 strikeouts. As we mentioned earlier, Jimmy has hit much better as a left-handed batter. Lefty Mattis ready in the bullpen. But Buck Showalter has seen Jimmy strike out 3 times against right-handed pitching in this game. So rather than make the move to turn him around, he's going to wait a batter, apparently, at least one batter. There's ball 1. I don't think Jose Altuve would play today or tomorrow night. 1-1. The Orioles are without Nick Markakis. He will rejoin their club at Tampa Bay tomorrow after a death in his family. It's 1-2. The Orioles also put pitcher Steve Johnson on the disabled list after last night. Called up an outfielder, Xavier Avery. For Buck, it's all about protecting this lead. And that's a strikeout for out number 2.
See what a real ball player looks like.
Oh, what a gamer. He's got the TV tape on. I like it.
Yeah, those were power bands.
And then we're going to go on the road trip. And
really? That's where we're going with this, huh?
Wow, it's a little bit thicker version than I anticipated.
Yeah, well, it was a
good spread that night.
Was that your leisure suit that that gentleman borrowed from you for this photo?
The workout program had not yet begun that offseason.
My goodness. That's some fine polyester right there, boys. Don't light up next to him.
If you keep that, it'll come back someday, you know.
You think?
Yeah, the fashion trends always return.
I'm going to go ahead and just be happy that I got rid of it. That's all I've got to say.
Buck Showalter is going to his bullpen. Lefty Brian Mattis is coming in to face Jason Castro right after this. Darren O'Day, who got 5 outs for Buck Showalter, now gives way to lefty Brian Mattis. And Mattis comes in to face Jason Castro, who is 1 for 2 with an intentional walk. Mattis, with 13 hits allowed in 23 2/3 innings, is 2-0 with a 3.04 ERA. Runner at first, 2 outs. Marwin Gonzalez is the base runner. Mattis worked a 1-2-3 8th inning last night in Baltimore's 11-7 loss. And he retired Castro on a grounder to short last night. It's foul ball there, strike 1.
Mattis is apparently liking this bullpen role because the numbers against him have just flipped around. and nobody's having fun. Left-hand hitters hitting 133, the righties 194. This is a guy who really struggled trying to be one of the starters in this rotation.
This was a first-round pick in 08 by the Birds. He was the 4th player drafted that year. And a former starting pitcher for them. Check swing call. 1 ball, 1 strike now with J.D. Martinez on deck. Mattis has inherited 34 runners in his career and stranded 32 of those 34. 1-2. This is definitely the percentage play for any manager against the Houston Astros, especially with a good left-handed pitcher. Castro has hit 143 against lefties with 5 hits and 35 at bats. 2 balls, 2 strikes. We're told that Jose Altuve is probably available today. And available in what sense? If you need a sacrifice fly to win the ball game, that's different. You don't have to run hard to first base in that situation.
Well, I think it's a situation where if it is a chance to win, not a chance to tie and extend the game, I think it's definitely a chance to win the ball game on one swing of the bat. He would be in there. Right.
Well, that tells me the injury is not deemed real serious presently, and you'll find a lot of those times where a guy who is nursing something a bit is told, look, don't come out of the box full speed. You just go ahead and glide on down to first base. That's not why we're putting you in.
Right. 3-2, 2 outs. Gonzalez takes off, and it's a strikeout for Mattis to end the 8th for Houston with no runs a hit and a man left. We move to the 9th. Baltimore leads at 3-1.
And in-depth analysis on Sports Talk Live every night at 5 p.m. only on Comcast Sportsnet.
Fans are watching as this game moves to the 9th inning. 3-1 Baltimore. Jose Cisnero came in the 8th inning. He got into some trouble with an infield hit by Hardy and then a Dickerson looping line drive single. So it was first and second, 1 out. Struck out Flaherty, got Teagarden to bounce into a force play. And now he comes back out for the 9th with the top of the order lined up to face him. McLeod, Machado, and Davis. Johnson, the Baltimore closer, will be getting ready. And he is for the bottom of the 9th inning with Martinez, Pena, and Carter due up for Houston. McLeod has grounded out twice, popped short, and walked. There's ball 1. You can stay tuned, of course, for Astros post-game live after this game, and then the various news shows throughout the evening for all the latest draft coverage. It's a 2-ball, no strike count now for Jose Cisnero to Nate McLeod.
You know, it's draft day, and it's always fun to speculate about different things, but you can look back as well. 2008, we were just talking about Brian Mattis coming on for the Orioles. Mattis, first rounder, 4th pick overall, the left-hander. Probably was the guy, the left-hander that's in the draft that you can go ahead and get, and he's had his struggles. He really had a rough time, quite frankly, with the O's, and now he's succeeding 5 years later in the bullpen. You can go after that guy. Of course, you never know when you're really talking about that guy or some version thereof. Or in that same draft, right after Brian Mattis was picked, there was a guy by the name of Buster Posey. And so you get that position guy. It's just so intriguing which way you turn.
3-2. The draft is just like a box of chocolates.
Oh, there you go.
Bouncing ball and fielded on the backhand side. Quick throw by Marwin Gonzalez, and a nice play to get McLeod.
There's a plant by Marwin with that right foot.
Yeah, as opposed to the jump throw. Let's take a look now at the top minor league players for the Astros. The pitchers of the month at AAA, Brett Oberholzer with a 2.42 ERA in May. Jake Buchanan lights out at Corpus Christi, an ERA of 0, a 4-0 record for 6 games in May. And Lance McCullers, 1-2 despite a 1.88 ERA in Quad Cities. McCullers was the 2nd draft choice of the Astros last year. Machado takes a look at ball 1, and that was ruled to be an outstanding pick as he was a high school player, and it took quite a bit of money, so to speak, to sign him and coax him away from starting a college career. But the Astros were able to come up with that money because of what they saved on their first pick, Carlos Correa. And they have a total draft bonus amount of $11.8 million, something like that, to spend on the entire draft. Well, that's not the entire draft. It's the top 10 or 15 rounds, I believe it is, Ash.
Blummer's just allotted that much to improvement on a home they're moving into.
Oh,
Yeah.
so there they are, getting ready for the big night.
When you start with Enos Cabell on one side, you know that is a lofty bunch right there.
But Enos is coming off a 6-0 road trip.
Yes, he is. I told him he's going to be on every game the rest of the year.
Quentin McCracken in there. Played against him, and he was with Arizona. That was a good pickup by the Astros right there, picking up Q.
Yeah, running the farm system, and then David Stearns, the assistant GM, and of course Jeff Luhnow.
But it's like Christmas morning in there right now.
Yeah, they talk about that, and yet there's an awesome responsibility in front of them. Davis has 2 singles and 4 at-bats in this game. It's 0-2. And, you know, according to all the various rumors around, the Astros last year did not really even contact those that they were thinking seriously about making their overall #1 pick in terms of that final deal they're trying to get until about 4 or 5 in the afternoon the day of the draft. They had talked extensively to him. Struck him out. That's a 1-2-3 ninth. Now the bottom of the ninth comes, and Martinez, Pena, and Carter do up for the Astros, who trail it 3-1. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. It's 3-1. The Orioles lead it on a warm, sizzling day downtown Houston, Texas. Whoever wins this game wins the series 2-1. Rally caps are in place for the Astros, bottom of the 9th inning. J.D. Martinez drove in the first run of the game. That was with a sacrifice fly. This time he'll face the closer, Jim Johnson, who's 19 for 23 in saves.
This guy's awfully tough and had a huge year last year. Led the league in saves, and yet he's had his struggles here of recent times.
J.D. Martinez got a hit off him in the opening game of this series Tuesday night. Franklin, and Hardy to his left. Gets it on over first. One pitch, one out for Johnson. Well, Johnson picked up save number 19 in that 4-1 win Tuesday night. The win for Chris Tillman. But he had struggled, as you indicated a couple weeks ago. He had 4 blown saves bunched pretty closely together within about an 11 or 12 day span. Carlos Pena's up next. He's 0 for 3. Chris Carter's on deck, so Pena can get on. The potential tying run comes up against Johnson. Johnson's a 5th round kick in 0-1. Away, strike one. Brian Mattis struck out the only man he faced, Jason Castro. Darren O'Day in 1 2/3 innings allowed 1 hit, no runs with no walks. He struck out 2. The Astros have been held to 6 hits in the game. Only 1 for extra bases. A Castro first inning double. Johnson missing there, goes to a 1-1 count. As Ash mentioned, he had a league leading save total of 51 last year. He had only 3 blown saves all last season. He's at 2-1 now on Carlos Pena. Tapped up the first base line, to the second baseman. Rather a little quick flip isn't made, and he is on. Pena, as Flaherty couldn't get there, he got his glove on it, but then was trying to flip it quickly to Davis. He couldn't pull it off, and Pena, it's a slow rolling infield hit with 1 out.
Might be the break the Astros are looking for here late in the game. Didn't look to be too tough of a play with Carlos Pena running. He had plenty of time to reach in there, grab that thing, and get rid of it. Just lost the handle.
And that gives you that opportunity to bring the tying run to the plate. That looked like for a moment there, I was wondering if Flaherty was thinking about flipping with the glove.
It did. Sometimes you get that ball towards the webbing of the glove. It makes it tough to make that exchange if you don't know where it is.
Error second base. Carter fouls it. There's strike 1. He struck out twice and grounded to shortstop.
A good time for Chris Carter to find another mistake.
It's a breaking ball foul into Carter. Struck out for the final out Tuesday night with Johnson getting him. He's 1 for 3 live time against Jim Johnson. Carlos Corcoran's on deck. Allen hit him. Well, Carter hit by the pitch on 0-2. Will make his way to first. And it's first and second, 1 out. And Carlos Corcoran will be the pinch hitter for Ronnie Cedeno.
Chris Carter takes this like a man. And I think that took a bite.
Pinch runner at first as well. Trevor Crowe running for Carter.
That was a gift right there. 2 strike counts haven't been too kind to Chris Carter, but he went Bill Thorne on him right there and took it one for the team. Those don't hurt so bad when you got 2 strikes on you.
Carter leads with a pinch runner, Crow, representing the tying run, and it's Carlos Corcoran who had a big night last night with 3 hits and a walk. Batting average up to .338, 4 homers, 9 runs batted in. He's hitting .310 as a left-handed batter. He's hit 3 home runs in 29 at-bats, hitting left-handed.
That was a big day. He hit a bullet off the right field wall. He hit it so hard he couldn't make the second base. But just continued to get on base for the Houston Astros. Every time he's in there, he seems to be swinging the bat well.
Ground ball shortstop. Hardy with the flip, and then Flaherty turns the double play to end it. And Corcoran, who came up with a career-high hitting streak of 7 games, and a good surge behind him, hits into a game-ending double play. The Orioles take 2 of 3 in this series. Johnson nailing down his 20th save. Gonzalez getting win number 3. And the final score is Baltimore 3, Houston 1.